Chapter 434. Haha, since you're so powerful, why did you pretend to be dead and escape here? Luo Ning sneered in disdain. Pretend to be dead? Wang Kai raised his eyebrows and his face turned pale. He didn't get any experience points for killing Zhang Sun Tianming. Now, she even said that he was pretending to be dead. That was clearly a real death, alright? Forget it. I'm magnanimous and don't want to be calculative with a woman. You can look at me however you like. Wang Kai shrugged and didn't bother to argue with her. He had killed Zhang Sun Tianming, and it didn't matter what others said. It was fine as long as he didn't think he was wrong. Congratulations to the host for successfully bragging. You've received 100,000 experience points and 100 bragging points. Congratulations to the host for successfully breaking through to the 3rd grade Dao Emperor realm. Luo Ning's eyes flickered when she heard this. The disdain in her eyes didn't decrease in the slightest. She took it that Wang Kai had a guilty conscience and couldn't refute her words. She then said, "Hand over the 9-9 Dao transforming formation. On account of the fact that we're both from the immortal martial realm, I will naturally think of a way to send you away from my ascendant residence." 9-9 Dao transforming formation. Clap clap. Wang Kai immediately clapped his hands when he heard this. With a flip of his hand, he took out the 9-9 Dao transformation array and threw it over as if he was throwing away trash. He said with disdain, "Don't think that this sect master is interested in such a broken array. Fortunately, you asked for it early. Otherwise, this sect master would have used it as toilet paper." Congratulations to the host for successfully bragging. You've received 100,000 experience points and 100 bragging points. Clap clap. Luo Ning raised her hand and held the 9-9 Dao transforming formation. She glared at Wang Kai angrily. The Dao transforming formation canon that she had comprehended after experiencing life and death was called toilet paper in the end. She didn't know that Wang Kai was so angry that it was considered light. If it was someone else who didn't come from the immortal martial domain with Wang Kai's character, he would have beaten him up. Why would he waste his breath? "Wang Kai, you are too arrogant," Luo Ning said coldly. Wang Kai narrowed his eyes. With one hand behind his back and the other waving a fan, he walked up to her with a playful expression. He raised his arm and tapped her shoulder with the fan. With a playful smile, he said, "Do you still want to punish this sect master?" 1. A black stream of air flowed out of the folding fan and entered Luo Ning's body through her shoulder. Luo Ning did not find anything unusual about this. She did not find any trace of it at all. Seeing that the soul imprint had been successfully implanted, Wang Kai's expression suddenly became even more arrogant. He looked at Luo Ning with a playful expression, shrugged his shoulders, and said with a smile, "There's no need to endure it. Bring it on." Formation, 4 absolutes seal the heavens. Swish, swish. In an instant, Luo Ning flipped her hand and 4 milky white beads appeared on her fingertips. As she threw them out, the 4 beads surrounded Wang Kai's body in the blink of an eye. 1. When a milky white light penetrated the beads, the 4 beads connected perfectly. Then, a transparent cuboid barrier appeared and trapped Wang Kai within it. "Bitch, do you really think that this kind of formation can trap this sect master? It's not that this sect master wants to brag, but no formation in this world can escape this sect master's finger." Wang Kai snorted coldly with disdain. Congratulations to the host for successfully bragging. You have received 100,000 experience and 100 bragging points. Congratulations to the host for successfully breaking through to the 4th grade Dao Emperor realm. When Luo Ning heard this, the disdain in her eyes deepened. With her hands behind her back, she said indifferently, "It's true that I am a martial disciple. However, my array Dao cultivation has reached the earthly venerable realm. If you can break this formation, I will believe that you did not feign death to escape here." Earthly venerable realm? What kind of realm is that? Wang Kai raised his eyebrows slightly. Earthly venerable and earthly venerable. What is the realm above the Tao God realm? 10,000 formation seal diagram. 10,000 formation seal diagram. 10,000 formation. Then, Wang Kai repeatedly activated the 10,000 formation seal diagram, but he still could not take it out. Moreover, he could not use any of his battle chi or spiritual soul. He could not even communicate with Lord Cat, who was in the heaven-reaching tower. How many bragging points do I need to break this formation? Wang Kai frowned. He could only ask the system for help. Host, with your current martial path realm, if you want to break this earthly venerable rank formation, you will need to spend 10,000 bragging points. 10,000 bragging points. When he heard the notification, Wang Kai's face darkened. The corners of his mouth twitched violently. He did not expect to need so many bragging points. This also meant that the gap between him and Luo Ning's earthly venerable realm cultivation was too big. They were not on the same level at all. Even if this formation could not seal off the system, it was not much different from being sealed off. Where could he get so many bragging points? Even if he had them, Wang Kai would not want to waste them unless it was a matter of life and death. Ho, you're not breaking it anymore? You can continue bragging. Luo Ning's eyes were filled with disdain as he sneered coldly. Patter. However, Wang Kai gently fanned himself with one hand behind his back. His expression was quite indifferent as he smiled and said, "This religion master is not someone who cares about how others look at me. No matter how people slander me, this religion master will ignore them. No matter how people look at me coldly, this religion master will not care. How can a magnanimous man like this religion master live in the eyes of others?" Congratulations to the host for successfully bragging. You have received 100,000 experience points and 100 bragging points. Whoosh! As soon as these words came out, Luo Ning's face stiffened. Her beautiful eyes widened slightly as she looked at Wang Kai hopelessly. After a long while, she shook her head and sighed, "Forget it, I don't want to bother with a junior like you." However, the face of the Celestial Master Mansion cannot be lost. Wait until I bring you to the Mansion Master. Whether you live or die, it will be up to you to decide. Master, the Mansion Master has summoned you. As a quiet voice sounded, Gu Bingning, who was wearing a white dress, slowly walked into the courtyard. She glanced at Wang Kai indifferently. There was no surprise, nor was there any abnormality. It was as if she already knew that Wang Kai was here. Well, Ning, come and take him with me to see the Mansion Master. Luo Ning nodded slightly and smiled. Yes, Master. Gu Bingning bowed slightly in response. Then, she flipped her jade-like hand and pointed 2 spiritual energies at the 4 ultimate heaven sealing formation. As her fingers moved, the cube barrier floated up and automatically followed behind. Seeing this scene, Wang Kai's face became even darker, especially when Gu Bingning's finger moved. What was even more infuriating was that she did not pay any attention to him. Wang Kai, Master's actions are all the Mansion Master's wishes. It's all your fault for being too reckless. Nothing in the Celestial Master Mansion can escape the Mansion Master's eyes. Even a fly can't enter the Celestial Master Mansion without permission. If only you were really dead, you wouldn't have to be a prisoner. Gu Bingning's voice was full of mockery. Chapter 435. Hearing this, Wang Kai was so angry that the corners of his mouth twitched. He glared at Gu Bingning fiercely. He never thought that this little girl would hit him when he was down. However, Wang Kai also understood that this courtyard did not belong to Luo Ning. She had come to see him because she had discussed it with the master of the Celestial Master Mansion. It had to be said that Luo Ning's acting was really good. If Gu Bingning had not told the truth, Wang Kai would have believed her. At first, she had pretended so well. At this moment, Wang Kai was extremely angry. With Gu Bingning's research and love of array formations, How could she not tell Luo Ning that she had entered the Dragon Mountain relic with him? This proved that Luo Ning had known that he was Wang Kai from the beginning. It was also the master of the Celestial Master Mansion's intention to look for him. Even if he could rely on the system to avoid the detection of his cultivation aura, he could not avoid the detection of his spirit. If he had known this would happen, he would have asked Cat Lord to use an illusion to hide himself. But why did she tell me this? Could it be that she has really fallen in love with me? That's right, this schoolmaster is so distinguished and elegant, plus I'm also extraordinarily mighty, so it's only natural for her to be moved by this schoolmaster. Wang Kai secretly smiled proudly. Congratulations to the host for successfully bragging. You have received 100,000 experience and 100 bragging points. Congratulations to the host for successfully breaking through to the 5th grade Dao Emperor realm. Hearing the notification, Wang Kai's face darkened. Since Gu Bingning did not like him, why did she tell him this? If it were not for the fact that voice transmissions were useless, Wang Kai really wanted to ask her. Unfortunately, he was now trapped in the formation. He could only listen but could not transmit his voice. Wang Kai, when Master transformed into the Wei and came to the Eastern Barren territory, he was weak and was bullied. Fortunately, the Lord of the Celestial Worthy Manor saved him, so he was able to survive. Therefore, the Lord of the Celestial Worthy Manor is treating you like this because he wants to repay the kindness of the past. I hope you won't hate Master, Gu Bingning said telepathically. Wang Kai raised his eyebrows slightly when he heard this. After all this time, was he being used as a tool to return the favor? F***ck, it's only right and proper for you to repay a debt of gratitude, but you're making fun of me. That's your fault. Wang Kai thought viciously. He could only listen but couldn't say anything. He was really aggrieved. Gu Bingning followed behind Luo Ning with an expressionless face. She secretly transmitted her voice to Luo Ning. The mansion master is allowing you to do whatever you want because of the power of the dual heavens sovereign. Even if you don't join the celestial worthy residence, he won't dare to do anything to you. That's why Master agreed with the mansion master. Double sky supremacy? What was that? When Wang Kai heard this, he frowned and stared at Gu Bingning fiercely. He wanted to exchange glances with her to express his thoughts, but Gu Bingning didn't even look at him. She didn't even turn around to look at him. It was really frustrating. I don't know who the dual heavens sovereign is. I only know that the mansion master wants to use you to win over the dual heavens sovereign. Not many people know about this. When you leave the celestial worthy residence, someone will bring you out of the eastern wilderness. Gu Bingning transmitted her voice to Luo Ning. After she finished speaking, no matter how much Wang Kai winked and scratched his head in anger, he didn't receive another transmission from Gu Bingning. Who is the dual heavens sovereign? Who is the person waiting for me outside? And he wants to bring me out of the eastern wilderness? Why does it sound like Gu Bingning doesn't want me to stay in the celestial worthy residence? Wang Kai frowned and thought to himself. In the depths of the celestial worthy residence. When Wang Kai and the others arrived, the middle-aged man standing in the courtyard with his hands clasped behind his back turned around with a smile on his face. His eyes flashed with light, as if he had the pearl of wisdom in his hands. Seeing this, Wang Kai was so angry that he secretly gritted his teeth. He stared fiercely at the middle-aged man and raised his finger to point at the formation barrier. Let him go. The mansion master waved his hand and smiled. Buzz. Luo Ning nodded slightly when she heard this. She raised her jade-like hand and beckoned, recalling the 4 beads back to her palm. The 4 ultimate heaven sealing array also disappeared. F***CKU. Are you the mansion master of the celestial worthy residence? Is there anyone who invites people like you? Is there anyone who is so rude as to invite me to join the celestial worthy residence? You even acted as if you were very smart and awesome. May I ask, are you an idiot? After being released, Wang Kai immediately cursed loudly and fiercely until he was almost done cursing. Only then did he heave a sigh of relief. One could imagine the feeling of being unable to speak for a long time after being sullen. However, the mansion master of the celestial worthy residence had already stiffened on the spot. The corners of his mouth twitched uncontrollably, and his eyes were gloomy and terrifying. His face was extremely pale. Luo Ning was even more shocked. She had not expected Wang Kai to be so bold as to insult the mansion master of the celestial worthy residence in front of him. Did he really not know how to write the word death? Little did she know that in Wang Kai's opinion, it was best for him to be happy. As for the feelings of his enemies, who would care about them? Moreover, with Gu Bingning's reminder, Wang Kai became even bolder. Since the mansion master of the celestial worthy residence was wary of the dual heavens sovereign, how could he let go of such a good opportunity to vent his anger? Wang Kai, if you join the celestial worthy residence, I can give you the deity, whoosh! Before the mansion master of the celestial worthy residence could finish his words, Wang Kai waved his hand and interrupted him. He snorted disdainfully and said, "Don't bother. My grandson is the deity. As his grandfather, how can I fight with him for the position?" You. The mansion master of the celestial worthy residence was so angry that his face was distorted. The veins on his forehead were bulging, and his killing intent was raging. It was not easy for the mansion master of the celestial worthy residence to tolerate Lan Zhiyo's matter. However, who would have thought that Wang Kai would still dare to mention it? What about me? I'm not afraid to tell you that the dual heavens sovereign is my most loyal subordinate. If you dare to act tough in front of me again, I don't mind asking the dual heavens sovereign to come over and teach you a lesson. Wang Kai shrugged his shoulders and flicked his sleeves with his fingers. He looked rather indifferent as he smiled. Congratulations to the host for successfully bragging. You have received 100,000 experience points and 100 bragging points. Dual heavens sovereign subordinate? Whoosh. As soon as he said that, the mansion master of the celestial worthy residence was stunned. Luo Ning and Gu Bingning were even more shocked. Luo Ning and Gu Bingning did not know the relationship between the dual heavens sovereign and Wang Kai. They were both shocked and horrified. Was Wang Kai bragging? Or was he telling the truth? However, the mansion master of the celestial worthy residence was shocked that Wang Kai was so awesome that he treated his parents as his subordinate. However, the mansion master of the celestial worthy residence was extremely gloomy. How did Wang Kai know about the dual heavens sovereign? If he really had a relationship with the dual heavens sovereign, he would not have said that they were his subordinate. In that case, the mansion master of the celestial worthy residence glanced at Luo Ning coldly. Although he had told her about the dual heavens sovereign, he did not tell her that the dual heavens sovereign were Wang Kai's parent. Now that he thought about it, it was indeed a good thing that he did not tell her everything. Ho ho, so the dual heavens sovereign is your subordinate. I really admire you. The dual heavens sovereign, two famous experts in the eight wilderness, actually committed themselves to the Discord sect. The mansion master of the celestial worthy residence said with a faint smile and a hint of sarcasm in his tone. Thank you, fellow Taoist Piaohong, for the tip. Chapter 436. Upon hearing this, Wang Kai squinted his eyes and looked at him with disdain. He laughed mockingly and said, "Haha, you don't believe me? I advise you to be careful. Otherwise, when my two subordinates, the dual heavenly sovereigns, arrive, you won't even have a place to cry." Congratulations to the host for successfully bragging. You have received 100,000 experience and 100 bragging points. Congratulations to the host for successfully breaking through to the 6th grade Tao Emperor realm. If you don't believe me, why don't you ask the dual heavenly sovereigns to come here? As the mansion master of the Eastern Wilderness Celestial Master Mansion, I naturally have to be a good host, the master of the celestial master mansion said with a faint smile. Such a scene caused Wang Kai's heart to skip a beat. He thought to himself, did I overdo it? Didn't Gu Bingning say that the master of the celestial master mansion is afraid of the dual heavenly sovereigns? Grandfather, don't believe that old thing. There are two dual heavens supremes. One is called Wang Tian, and the other is called Lin Yu. They are your parents, grandfather, and also my. Lan Jiu's angry voice came from the room, and the master of the celestial master mansion flew into a rage before he could finish his words. Bastard! Shut up! Buzz! Suddenly, the master of the celestial master mansion waved his hand and scolded sternly. A mighty pressure penetrated the door and immediately caused Lan Jiu, who was tied up, to roll his eyes and pass out. Wang Tian, Lin Yu, parents, dual heavenly sovereigns. Upon hearing this, Wang Kai's mind buzzed. He had never thought that the dual heavenly sovereigns would be his parents. When he looked at Luo Ning and Gu Bingning, he widened his eyes in shock. He had never thought that the truth would be like this. Good, good, good. You are awesome. You are very awesome. Wang Kai's face was as black as ink. He raised the folding fan in his hand and hit the master of the celestial master mansion's shoulder. As a black soul imprint entered his body, Wang Kai's expression became increasingly unfriendly. The master of celestial master mansion did not dodge. He thought that Wang Kai did not have the ability to hurt him. At this moment, he was furious because of Lan Jiu's words. He raised his hand and pushed Wang Kai back a few steps. Wang Kai, since you already know, I won't beat around the bush with you. Join the celestial master abode, and I'll make you the third abode lord. The abode lord said in a deep voice. The third prefecture lord? Wang Kai narrowed his eyes slightly and a cold light flashed in his eyes. He immediately waved his arm and said coldly, Third place my ass. This sect master still has things to do, so I don't want to brag with you here. Whoosh. As soon as Wang Kai finished speaking, he turned around and left. Seeing this, the master of celestial master mansion's face became even more gloomy. He stared coldly at Wang Kai's back and clenched his fist. Wait, take this with you. If you are in danger, I will appear and help you. You will need it. The master of celestial master mansion said in a deep voice. He flipped his hand and took out a black jade token. He then threw it to Wang Kai. Patter! Wang Kai raised his hand and caught it. He walked away without looking back. However, a cold smile hung on the corner of his mouth. He thought to himself, Master of Celestial Master Mansion, Luo Ning, are you trying to act tough in front of me? Good, good, good. If I don't turn the Celestial Master Mansion upside down, I will write Wang Kai in reverse. Congratulations to the host for successfully bragging. You have received 100,000 experience and 100 bragging points. Mansion Master, about my nephew 9 Nether. Luo Ning said flatly. He was extremely displeased that the master of Celestial Master Mansion had not told him about the relationship between Duality Sovereign and Wang Kai. When the master of Celestial Master Mansion saw this, he snorted coldly and said indifferently, Do you think that he will agree to treat 9 Nether if I ask him to? Or do you want me to use force? Since Mansion Master already has a plan, I will take my leave, Luo Ning said flatly. As Luo Ning and Gu Bingning turned to leave, the master of Celestial Master Mansion's face suddenly turned pale. Luo Ning, it was my biggest mistake to believe you, the master of Celestial Master Mansion said in a deep voice. In response, Luo Ning stopped in his tracks. In the end, he did not say anything and quickly left. Luo Ning and Gu Bingning entered the slightly simple courtyard one after another. Ning don't do useless things in the future. Take this 9-9 transformation array and cultivate it. I want to rest, Luo Ning said calmly. He flipped his hand and passed the 9-9 transformation array to Gu Bingning. Then, he entered his room without saying a word. Luo Ning naturally knew that it was Gu Bingning's doing that Wang Kai knew about Dual Sky Supremes. Gu Bingning held the 9-9 transformation array and her beautiful eyes flickered. She secretly gritted her teeth and said, "No matter what, I can't let that damn shameless guy stay in the Celestial Master Mansion." Once she recalled what had happened in the Dragon Mountain relic, Gu Bingning could not wait to skin Wang Kai alive. How could she let him stay in the Celestial Master Mansion? How could she face him in the future? At the same time, Wang Kai, who had already left the Celestial Master Mansion, was standing in front of the gate with his hands behind his back. He had a mocking sneer on his face. "Leave the East Royal City. When the time comes, I will help you to go to the Soul Break Valley." Suddenly, a gloomy voice rang in Wang Kai's mind. It was hard to tell if the voice was male or female. It was extremely ear-piercing. "Soul Break Valley? Are you the person who is here to receive me?" Wang Kai squinted his eyes slightly. He did not know who had sent the voice transmission. Since he had chosen to send the voice transmission, there must be a reason why he did not want others to know. However, no matter who it was, Wang Kai did not think that it would be harmful to him. Otherwise, there would be no need for him to help him leave the East Continent. Summoning the Protector Beast, Luo Ning, the master of the Celestial Master Mansion, Wang Kai put his hands behind his back and chuckled with a playful expression. "Congratulations to the host for successfully summoning the Protector Beast, Lan Qianqiu, a heavenly master. Congratulations to the host for successfully summoning the Protector Beast, Luo Ning, an earthly master. Congratulations to the host for successfully summoning 2 Protector Beasts." Host: Wang Kai. Profession: Martial Artist, Talisman Cultivator, Array Cultivator. Auxiliary Profession: Alchemist. Realm: 6th Grade. Tao Emperor. Doctrine: Art of Bragging, Elixir Codex, Spiritual Codex. Superpowers: Luck Deprivation Skill, Soul Manipulation Skill, Heaven Sealing Skill, Underworld Sand Sea Skill. Equipment: Tong Tian Tower, 9 Dragon Cauldron, God Punishing Brush, 10,000 Formation Seal Diagram, Ever-Changing Fan, Icy Flying Sword. Bloodline: Level 10 Physique, 9-5 Supreme. Physique. Protector Beasts: Lan Qianqiu, a Heavenly Master, Luo Ning, an Earthly Master. Bragging Points: 5, 730 Experience, 1-300 0020 0000 Buzz. Suddenly, the Master of the Celestial Master Mansion and Luo Ning appeared beside Wang Kai. There was a circle of blue runes under their feet that was shining brilliantly. "Wang Kai, you? Space Array. No, it's the Space Dao." The Master of the Celestial Master Mansion and Luo Ning's expressions changed. They looked at Wang Kai in confusion and shock. Chapter 437. Weren't the 2 of you acting tough earlier? I'll let you know that there's a price to pay for acting tough. Wang Kai snorted coldly. Upon hearing this, the Master of the Celestial Master Mansion and Luo Ning frowned and looked at Wang Kai coldly. They could not imagine where Wang Kai got his courage from. Even if he was afraid of the Dual Heavens Supremes, as the Master of the Celestial Master Mansion, he would not tolerate it too many times. "You still dare to stare at me? Good. Listen well. I order you to beat everyone in the Celestial Master residence, whether they're elders or disciples, half dead. After that, the 2 of you can fight each other as equals for 3 days and 3 nights. Yes, the Celestial Master Mansion is my enemy, and so are the 2 of you. Let's begin." Wang Kai's eyes flashed coldly as he sneered. Swoosh. Swoosh. Suddenly, the Master of the Celestial Master Mansion and Luo Ning stepped into the air. The light in their eyes had disappeared and was replaced by numbness. "Yes, Master." As soon as they finished speaking, the Master of the Celestial Master Mansion and Luo Ning attacked the Celestial Master Mansion at the same time. Then, a series of miserable cries resounded in the void. The entire Celestial Master Mansion was shaken and fell into a state of wailing and howling. When Wang Kai heard the screams, he suddenly felt very happy. He couldn't help but touch his chin and laugh loudly at the Celestial Master Mansion. This sect master is kind and benevolent. I'll just beat you up, but I hope you won't act tough again in the future. Otherwise, this sect master won't show mercy. Congratulations to the host for successfully bragging. You have received 100,000 experience points and 100 bragging points. Congratulations to the host for successfully breaking through to the 7th grade Dao Emperor realm. It's Wang Kai. How can he order the master of the mansion and the vice mansion master? No. Master, why did you? In an instant, countless blood-curdling screams rang out incessantly. Those disciples and elders could be said to have been beaten miserably. The degree of fear they had for Wang Kai had also reached an unimaginable level. Hearing those miserable cries, Wang Kai was delighted, but at the same time, his hands were itching. If not for the summoning function, the summoned protector spirit beasts could only be used to fight enemies. Wang Kai wanted them to stand there and let him beat them up. Consider yourself lucky. This sect master will save this fat beating for another day. Wang Kai shrugged and smiled with a rather indifferent expression. After he finished speaking, he waved his fan and leisurely left. At the same time, in the East Royal Court, Dong Wang was dressed in a golden dragon robe, and there was murderous intent between his brows. Especially when he looked at the unconscious young man in the hall, his murderous intent grew stronger. The unconscious young man was none other than the Crown Prince, Dongfang Mo. He had used all kinds of methods and invited many alchemists, but he was still unable to cure her. Once he woke up, he would clamor to see Grandpa Wang Kai. How could Dong Wang tolerate such a situation? Reporting: Wang Kai has left the Celestial Master Mansion and is making his way to the East Royal City. When a soldier in armor came in and reported, Dong Wang's eyes turned cold. He's actually still alive? Lan Qianshou, you're really cunning. Dong Wang laughed coldly. The soldier hesitated for a moment before he gritted his teeth and said, Your Majesty, the Master of the Celestial Master Mansion and the Vice Mansion Master have become Wang Kai's servants. Bang! Crack! Dong Wang's eyes widened when he heard that. He couldn't help but slap the armrest of the throne, shattering it into pieces. Is what you said true? Do you have proof? Dong Wang asked sternly as he stood up. Whoosh! Plop! The soldier was so frightened that his face turned pale. He hurriedly knelt on the ground and said in a trembling voice, Your Majesty, please calm down. I'm not lying. The Master of the Celestial Master Mansion and the Vice Mansion Master are following Wang Kai's orders and are fighting in the Celestial Master Mansion. The Celestial Master Mansion Dong Wang was no longer in the mood to listen to the soldier's words. Instead, he looked at the void with a cold glint in his eyes and sent his spiritual soul out. Dong Wang was stunned when he saw the mess in the Celestial Master Mansion. The elders and disciples had all been severely injured by the Mansion Master and Luo Ning. Tell the generals who are secretly following Wang Kai to come back. Dong Wang ordered sternly with an ugly expression. The soldier hurriedly cupped his fists and replied respectfully, Yes, Your Majesty. As the soldier left, Dong Wang paced back and forth in the hall with his hands behind his back. He frowned deeply and gritted his teeth. I originally wanted to kill Wang Kai after he left the Celestial Master Mansion. Even if Duality Heaven Supremes were to blame, they would blame the Celestial Master Mansion. Now, it seems like, bastards Lan Qianshou and Luo Ning, how dare you become slaves? Outside the East Royal City, Wang Kai had just stepped out of the Imperial City when he was stopped by tens of thousands of experts. They were all young people. The oldest was only in his 30s. The strongest was in the Tao God stage, and the weakest was in the Divine Tao stage. In front of them stood a woman in a purple dress with a veil over her face. She held a long sword tightly in her jade-like hand. Her body was covered in blue flames as she stared coldly at Wang Kai. Dongfang Xian. Wang Kai, I will definitely kill you! Dongfang Xian yelled. Dongfang Xian had heard from the people of the East Royal Court that Wang Kai was in the East Royal City. When she heard the news, she rushed back without stopping. Along the way, many young experts took the initiative to follow her. What made Dongfang Xian happy was that the news was true. Before she even entered the city, she had already intercepted Wang Kai. Both sides had coincidentally bumped into each other. Dongfang Xian was incomparably glad. If she hadn't returned in time, wouldn't Wang Kai have escaped again? Little girl, did you, bastard? Wang Kai, back then you actually spread the rumor that you and I had spent many nights together. Damn it. He even said that I cried and begged him to consummate my marriage with me. Wang Kai, if you don't tell the truth today, you are destined to die here. That's right, I never had any feelings for you. Back then, you were the one who deliberately slandered me. You even said that I recommended myself to sleep with you and even bathed and changed your clothes. Bastard. In an instant, before Wang Kai could finish speaking, hundreds of young and beautiful women walked out from the crowd. All of their cultivations were not lower than the divine realm, and there were even Tao realm existences. However, at this moment, they were all staring at Wang Kai with frosty expressions. It was as if they wanted nothing more than to kill Wang Kai on the spot. Seeing this, the corner of Wang Kai's mouth twitched violently. In the memories of all the women present, it was basically all done by the True Spirit Avatar. What they said was true. True Spirit Avatar, I really want to beat you up. If you can't take advantage of me, what's the use of your mouth? Wang Kai's face darkened as he thought fiercely. Chapter 438. Eldest Princess, Senior Brothers, Junior Brothers, Senior Sisters, and Junior Sisters, let me deal with a mere transcendent realm ant. Whoosh! A man in yellow leather armor flashed out from the crowd. His face was slightly rough, but his temperament was very valiant. He cupped his fists at the crowd as soon as he appeared. When he looked at Dongfang Xian, his eyes were filled with love. His aura was at the God Emperor realm. Dongfang Xian's beautiful eyes flickered when she heard that. She originally wanted to stop him. After all, Wang Kai's Tao of Fortune wasn't something a God Emperor could deal with. However, when she saw the love in the man's eyes, she immediately felt disgusted. She simply nodded slightly and didn't care. When everyone saw that the eldest princess had agreed, no one went to fight with him. Among them, many young men were secretly regretting. Wouldn't it have been better if they had stood out earlier? Such an opportunity to show their faces in front of the eldest princess had been snatched away by someone else. Some of the Tao realm experts were even more furious and unwilling to accept this, but there was nothing they could do. A mere God Emperor dared to show off. What could they do? Who asked them to be a step slower than him? Wang Kai, the trash sect master of the Discord sect, my name is... Name my ass. Bang. Plop, suddenly, before the man in leather armor could finish speaking, Wang Kai arrived in front of him in an instant. With a flip of his hand, Wang Kai slapped the man to the ground. The powerful force shook him until he was dizzy and his mind was in a mess. Is there anyone who shows off like you? Do you have the confidence to do so? Have you investigated this sect master's background? If you don't know anything, why are you showing off? Are you looking for a beating? F***CKU. Wang Kai snorted coldly with a rather unfriendly expression as he threw punch after punch. Bang! Bang bang bang! Under the astonished gazes of the crowd, the man in leather armor was already beaten to a pulp. He lay unconscious on the ground like a bloody man. His aura was extremely weak, as if he could die at any moment. Heavens! He's actually at the Tao Emperor realm. This is impossible. 2 years ago, he was still in the transcendent realm. The eldest princess also said that his cultivation had not increased at all in these 2 years. Then why? Why have you reached the Tao Emperor realm now? F*CKU. How would I know? Damn it. Fortunately, I was a step slower. Otherwise, wouldn't I be in trouble? Brother, your words make sense. Everyone discussed animatedly and cried out in surprise endlessly. All of them were shocked as if the heavens and the earth were turned upside down by Wang Kai's cultivation. At the same time, many experts at the level of Emperor God and below rejoiced in their hearts when they saw the dying man. If they had really gone out just now, they would have shown their faces, but in the end, it was not much different from losing face. Papa. Wang Kai clapped his hands and took a few steps back leisurely. He said with a calm smile, "Killing people is just a matter of time. Although this pretentious guy is brainless, I still admire his impulsiveness. You are just like him. I can sum it up with 8 words. You are not a piece of sh*t, but you are pretentious." How presumptuous! A mere Tao Emperor dares to be so arrogant? Humph. Looks like we must kill him here, so as to avoid being an eyesore. Exactly, this kid really does deserve death. He actually dares to cause chaos in the eastern wilderness and spread rumors to humiliate so many senior and junior sisters. He's truly courting death. Swoosh, swoosh. In an instant, almost 1,000 figures flashed into appearance. Shockingly, all of their auras were above the Tao Emperor realm. The weakest amongst them was at the Tao Emperor realm, while the strongest were at the Tao God realm, and there were even over 10 of them. After they found out about Wang Kai's true cultivation, there was naturally no need for them to continue exercising forbearance, because no one was willing to let such an opportunity to show their faces before the eldest princess slip by. "Everyone, please leave. Leave him to this Tao God," a young man said faintly. There were over 10 Tao gods by his side. All of them grunted with displeasure when they heard this, and they didn't move at all. Obviously, they weren't willing to give this opportunity to him. On the other hand, those experts below the Tao God realm could only retreat with unsightly expressions. Only 11 Tao gods remained. They hadn't attained the Tao God realm, and the powers behind them were too inferior to these 11 people. So, they naturally didn't dare compete with them. Even if they did, they wouldn't be able to win. "Eldest princess, I'm the son of the secluded night region's region lord, Yu Shui." "Eldest princess, I'm the young sect master of the Rakshasa sect, a second-grade power in Rakshasa region, Luo Gang." "Eldest princess." As the 11 young men introduced themselves successively, Dongfang Xian's beautiful brows knit together while a strand of disgust flashed in her eyes. "I'll deal with the enmity between Wang Kai and I myself. There's no need to trouble all of you. Please leave," said Dongfang Xian indifferently. Swoosh. As soon as these words were spoken, it instantly caused the expressions of those 11 Tao gods to stiffen. Especially when they saw the eldest princess' extremely impatient appearance, they felt extremely embarrassed in their hearts. Right. Why should you men interfere in the matters of us women? Exactly. All of you leave and leave it to the eldest princess. What are all of you standing there for? Why aren't you leaving? Immediately after, many female cultivators mocked and ridiculed one after another. Their beautiful eyes were filled with delight. They were all women, but it just so happened that she, Dongfang Xian, was pursued by everyone while they didn't receive such treatment. How could they not be angry? Now that they saw those 11 Tao God stage geniuses from various regions being humiliated, they naturally wouldn't let go of the opportunity to ridicule them. "Haha, this sect master has really given all of you face. Can all of you act so pretentious now? You're even discussing who should beat this sect master up? F*CK all of you. If I don't beat all of you up today, I'll be letting down your pretentious actions." Wang Kai's expression was rather dark as he sneered fiercely. Can't look at card-rubbing mirror. Congratulations to the host for successfully obtaining can't look at card-rubbing mirror. 100 bragging points have been consumed. Patter. As a white mirror appeared in Wang Kai's palm, everyone present was extremely disdainful. They originally thought that he could take out some kind of powerful treasure. In the end, it turned out to be an ordinary mirror. Eldest princess, I really can't stand this brat's arrogance and despotism. Please forgive me, eldest princess. Swoosh. Luo Gang, the young master of the Rakshasa sect, roared angrily. He immediately turned into a stream of light and took out 2 long sabers with a flip of his hand. He slashed at Wang Kai's head. Wang Kai shrugged and smiled with a rather mocking expression. He flipped his hand and raised the mirror high above his head. Come on, everyone. Hee, let's rub it together. Buzz. As the sunlight shone down, the brilliance within the mirror flashed brightly. Rays of dazzling silver light stimulated everyone present to close their eyes. Luo Gang, who had just attacked, suddenly stopped. His eyes were tightly shut as he stood there in a daze. Chapter 439. Black Shadow said in a hoarse voice, I am indebted to the dual heavenly sovereigns. They have helped you, both for personal and personal reasons. Dual heavenly sovereigns again. When Wang Kai heard this, he frowned. He had always been reluctant to help his parents, but he had no choice but to face it because of his body. But now, he had received help from the dual heavenly sovereigns, even though he had not met them. This made Wang Kai feel uncomfortable and disgusted. I originally planned to go to the Central Wasteland. Just tell me the direction of the soul-shattering valley. As for help and protection, forget about it, Wang Kai shrugged and said indifferently. The black figure was quiet for a moment when he heard this. Soon after, he lifted his hand and pointed to the south. In a hoarse voice, he said, with your cultivation level, you will reach the soul-breaking valley if you head south for 3 months. That place will lead you to the Central Wasteland. Thank you. Goodbye. Wang Kai cupped his fists and thanked him. When he was about to leave, Black Shadow stopped him again. Take this Sky Destroyer Army token. If you run into any trouble after heading to the Central Wasteland, you can seek help from the Sky Destroyer General of the Central Wasteland. However, you can only do so once. The black figure spoke in a hoarse voice. He flipped his hand and tossed out a golden token. Patter! Wang Kai raised his hand and took the gold medallion. He played with it a few times in his palm, then casually threw it into the void and said faintly, This sect master doesn't want to receive favors from others, let alone from dual heavenly sovereigns. Congratulations to the host for successfully bragging. You have received 100,000 experience and 100 bragging points. Swoosh. As soon as Wang Kai finished speaking, he turned around and left. When he disappeared into the horizon, Black Shadow suddenly appeared again. He looked at the token on the ground and was speechless for a long time. Although you have ambition, if you are not tactful and are too arrogant, it will be difficult for you to achieve great things. But it's fine as well. Since he has chosen to go to Soulbreak Valley, it will definitely be difficult for him to survive with his current cultivation. Since it's like this, there's no need to use this token to monitor whether he has successfully arrived at the Central Desolation. Black Shadow laughed in a hoarse voice. He flipped his hand and took the gold medal. His figure gradually disappeared into the void. Little did he know that with Wang Kai's character, as long as there was something he could use, he would never let it go. However, Wang Kai would not accept any help when it came to the matter of 2 heavenly sovereigns. This was Wang Kai's bottom line. 3 months later, at the border of the eastern wilderness in front of the Soul Break Valley, Wang Kai's silhouette floated down from the air as he stared at the boundless mountain range. Within the mountain range, dark clouds covered the entire area, as gusts of cold wind gusted. This was especially so for the entrance of the valley, where a gigantic stone monument was erected. On the stone tablet the words Soul Break Valley were carved. At the bottom there was a row of small words. Entering the Valley of Broken Souls, there is only a slim chance of survival. If you lose your life, your soul will be severed, and your body will turn into a malicious spirit. Bang! Seeing this, Wang Kai's face instantly darkened. His expression was filled with disdain as he kicked the stone tablet, causing it to collapse. There is nothing this sect master can't do. My body is full of righteousness. Even malicious ghosts will retreat when they see me. If there is a female ghost, she will definitely come to fight for my favor. This monument is too pretentious. Wang Kai snorted in disdain. Congratulations to the host for successfully bragging. You have received 100,000 experience and 100 bragging points. Congratulations to the host for successfully breaking through to the 9th grade Dao Emperor realm. After hearing the notification, Wang Kai was not happy at all. Above the Dao Emperor realm, there were Dao Emperors, Dao Saints and the strongest Dao Gods. Only those who had reached the Dao God realm could be considered as the top experts among the younger generation of the Desolation. Moreover, Wang Kai did not know how powerful the geniuses in the Central Desolation were. However, they were definitely not weaker than those in the Eastern Desolation. As Wang Kai stepped into Soulbreak Valley, the collapsed stone tablet suddenly stood up as if it had a life of its own. Finally, there is flesh and blood of a living person to eat. We can't eat him without permission. The Ghost King will be angry. On the stone wall of the valley, 2 black shadows were leaning on it. They looked at Wang Kai, who was passing by below, and laughed evilly. Flesh and blood of a living person? When Wang Kai heard this, his footsteps paused slightly. Naturally, he had heard their conversation. He could not help but look up. When he saw that they were staring at him, he immediately raised his eyebrows and said with a smile, "Are the 2 of you idiots? Don't you know how to restrain yourself if you want to eat me? You are so brazen. Sigh, forget it. I have not eaten ghosts for a long time. Today I will eat some meat." Congratulations to the host for successfully bragging. You have received 100,000 experience and 100 bragging points. Eat ghosts? As soon as these words came out, the 2 black shadows were stunned. They looked at each other and showed their figures on the mountain wall. The 2 men were middle-aged. One was green all over and the other was red all over. They had horns on their heads and their clothes were tattered. Waves of black death chi circulated around their bodies. Looking at the horns, the disgusting skin color, and the circulating death chi, Wang Kai immediately waved his hand in disgust and said disdainfully, "Get lost, your appearance is too bad. I can't swallow it. Ask your Ghost King to come over." Swoosh. The 2 ghost cultivators glared angrily when they heard this. It was always people who saw them run away. Who would dare to curse them like this when they saw them? "Kid, we are ghost cultivators from Soulbreak Valley. Do you know what a ghost cultivator is?" The red ghost man asked gloomily. "Ghost cultivator?" Wang Kai suddenly raised his eyebrows and sneered with disdain. "I have seen meditation cultivators before. After people die, their souls do not disperse. They cultivate with their souls. They are much smarter than ghost cultivators like you." A bunch of nonsense. Meditation cultivators are only the beginning of advancing to ghost cultivators. The soul cultivates the netherworld Tao. If it has a physical body, it can become a ghost cultivator after fusing with it. After that, it can devour the flesh and blood of living beings. After cultivating, it can be reborn in the world and possess an even stronger life and body. Red Ghost said proudly. Wang Kai was slightly stunned when he heard this. No wonder Ling Feng wanted to seize back his physical body. So it turns out that he is evolving into a ghost cultivator? Doesn't that mean that Ling Feng will be like these ghost cultivators in the future and need to devour the flesh and blood of living beings to cultivate? Once he regains life and physical body, his soul and body will transform and become even stronger? How many people have successfully obtained new life in Soulbreak Valley? Wang Kai frowned and asked with a rather curious expression, but he was secretly vigilant in his heart. If there were really such ghost cultivators in Soulbreak Valley, their realms would probably not be low. With his Tao Emperor realm cultivation, it would surely be difficult to resist them. Just take these two ghost cultivators before him for example. They were both at the Tao Profound realm. Moreover, from the Ghost King they spoke of, they were only at the level of foot soldiers. Even foot soldiers could have a cultivation at the Tao Profound realm. Not yet. However, they can definitely regain life and physical body. Red Ghost and Green Ghost looked at each other and shouted in unison with slight anger. They completely thought that Wang Kai was looking down on them and thought that they were lying. Chapter 440. Not yet? Wang Kai raised his eyebrows when he heard that and said with a disdainful smile, "Since you haven't, what's there to show off? Do you know that the founder of the Ghost Cultivator Tao is me? Congratulations to the host for successfully boasting. You have obtained 100,000 experience and 100 bragging points. Congratulations to the host for successfully breaking through and reaching the first grade Tao Emperor realm. The founder of the Ghost Cultivator Tao." As soon as these words came out, the green and red ghosts widened their eyes. The green and red pupils kept rolling, and the death aura around them swept out. His Highness Ghost King will definitely like your flesh and blood. Ao. In an instant, one could see the bodies of the two green and red ghosts gradually grow within the swirling black death chi. Finally, they transformed into enormous bodies that were over a dozen meters in size. They waved their dense, sharp claws and swept down from the sky. You think you're awesome just because you've become bigger? Wang Kai was extremely disdainful when he saw this. He closed the folding fan with a snap, raised his arm and tapped lightly. Bang! Buzz! Suddenly, the sharp claws of the green and red ghosts were stopped in midair by the folding fan. They stopped there and did not move at all. They were unable to withdraw and retreat. They were already fixed there, unable to move at all. You're a Tao Emperor Realm powerhouse. It was only at this moment that the green and red ghosts understood that the young man who entered was a cultivator that surpassed their realm. And it was a powerhouse that surpassed 4 realms. Tao Mystery, Tao Master, Tao King, Tao Emperor, and above that was Tao Emperor. They were only at the Tao Profound realm. How could they be a match for a Tao Emperor? Sigh, it's so boring. Is this all your Soulbreak Valley can do? 2 insignificant ghost soldiers dare to have designs on this sect master. Wang Kai shrugged his shoulders and gently flicked the folding fan in his hand. Bang! Rumble! Rumble! The huge bodies of the green and red ghosts were immediately pushed to the ground. The trees and rocks were all crushed and smoke and dust rose. Buzz! Buzz! Run! We're not his match. The entire ghost realm is no match for him. The green and red ghosts immediately cried out. Their bodies immediately shrank, transforming into 2 green and red light clusters that swiftly fled. Did I allow you to leave? Whoosh! All of a sudden, Wang Kai appeared in front of them and blocked the green and red ghost. The 2 of them looked at each other and immediately knelt on the ground, crying and begging for mercy. Mercy, mercy! We have eyes but failed to recognize Mount Tai. Please spare our lives, young hero. Young hero? Spare his life? The corners of Wang Kai's mouth twitched when he heard that. He looked at them with disdain and said with a smile, My name is Wang Kai. I am the sect leader of the Discord sect. I am not a young hero. You can call me sect leader. Also, do you have a life? Do you need mercy? Whoosh! As soon as he said that, the green and red ghosts were stunned. They looked at each other and said in realization, That's right. We've been dead for a few years. We're dead. Even if he kills us, We can use the yin qi of the Soul Break Valley to be reborn. But wouldn't we have to start cultivating from scratch again? No, no. If we die and cultivate from the Supreme Tao realm when we were alive, when will we be able to recover to the Tao Profound realm? Lord Sect Leader, please spare our lives. We used 7 years with great difficulty to cultivate from the Supreme Tao realm to the Tao Profound realm. Immediately, under Wang Kai's impatience, the green and red ghosts immediately cried and begged for mercy again. They even shed tears. However, their tears were extremely special. They were all black, just like black blood. 7 years to cultivate from the Supreme Tao realm to the Tao Profound realm. You guys simply disappoint this sect leader too much. Back then, this sect leader was plotted against by a villain and unfortunately died miserably. In order to go back and take revenge, I created the path of ghost cultivation. Moreover, I only used 1 day to obtain a new life once again. You guys are simply too stupid. Wang Kai pretended to be disappointed and shook his head as he sighed. Congratulations to the host for successfully bragging. Obtained 100,000 experience. Bragging points, 100 points. Bragging. He was definitely bragging. The green and red ghosts were extremely disdainful in their hearts, but on the surface, they nodded their heads repeatedly as if it was a serious matter. They wished that Wang Kai could give them a way out and let them go. Tell me, what is the Lone Soul Wild Ghost region? How do you go from the Soul Break Valley to the Central Desolate Land? Wang Kai shrugged his shoulders and said with a smile with an indifferent expression, Go to the Central Desolate Land? The green and red ghosts' expressions were extremely strange when they heard this. They looked at each other and finally looked at Wang Kai as if they were looking at an idiot. Sect leader, don't you know that it is impossible to pass through the Soul Break Valley without reaching the Celestial Master Realm? Green Ghost asked strangely and his tone was full of sarcasm. Celestial Master Realm. Wang Kai suddenly frowned. Was it the same realm as the master of the Celestial Master Mansion, Lan Qianqiu? Haha, a mere Empyrean realm is nothing. I'm not afraid to let you know that the number of Empyrean realm powerhouses who have died under this sect master's hands is at least 8,000, if not 10,000. Wang Kai snorted with disdain. Congratulations to the host for successfully bragging. Obtained 100,000 experience. Bragging points, 100 points. Congratulations to the host for successfully breaking through the realm and reaching the second-grade Tao Emperor realm. The green and red ghosts' expressions were extremely stiff when they heard this. The degree of disdain they had for Wang Kai had reached an extreme level. He was clearly in the Tao Emperor realm, but he claimed that he had killed a celestial master. This bragging was simply too much. Since sect leader is so wise and mighty, I shall not hide it from you. There are 3 ghost regions in the Soul Break Valley. The region we are in is called the Lone Soul Wild Ghost region. Before Green Ghost could finish speaking, Red Ghost muttered and interrupted. It means exactly what it means. We are all Lone Soul Wild Ghosts. We don't have a grave nor a coffin. We are low-level ghost cultivators who died in the wilderness. Shut up. So what if we are low-level ghost cultivators? One day we will obtain the qualifications to enter the ghost graveyard. Green Ghost scolded unhappily. Red Ghost grinned when he heard this. His face was full of disdain as he complained, Stop bragging. The ghosts in the ghost graveyard all have their own graves and tombstones. Those are ghosts with status. Unless you reach the Tao Saint realm, don't even think about entering. Give us another 7 years, and we will definitely be able to enter the ghost graveyard. We will obtain our own graves and tombstones. Give us another 7 years, and we will be able to enter the ghost sovereign graveyard. There, we will be able to obtain even more palaces and good coffins. Green Ghost said proudly. Stop bragging, bang! Bang! Before Red Ghost could refute, Wang Kai slapped him across the face and sent him tumbling to the ground. What's wrong with bragging? This is a very noble thing to do, alright? And your bragging is too low class. You have the nerve to speak in front of me? When they heard Wang Kai's words and saw his disdainful expression, the green and red ghosts' minds went blank. They could not figure out what kind of person he was. What made the green and red ghosts even more speechless was, this beating was inexplicable. It was really frustrating. Chapter 441. Wang Kai raised his eyebrows when he saw green and red ghosts looking as if they didn't know why they were being beaten up. He felt like he needed to teach them a lesson. Isn't it just graves and tombstones? There are mountains, rocks, and trees everywhere. With your cultivation level, you can have any shape you want. Is such a small thing worth bragging about? I've heard of people wanting palaces and emperor-like treatment, but I've never heard of anyone wanting a grave. Wang Kai shrugged and said with disdain. Wang Kai despised Soul Break Valley a lot. They were pretty decent. They were all wandering ghosts, but they still wanted an identity. No one knew what kind of identity they had when they were alive, but now that they were dead, they were still trying to compare their identities. It had to be said that the world was full of wonders. Sect leader, you may not know this, but in Soul Break Valley, those who haven't met the requirements are not allowed to obtain graves and tombstones. Once they are caught by ghost envoys, their souls will be scattered. Green Ghost sighed helplessly. Red Ghost also had a sorrowful look. He shook his head and said self-deprecatingly, when the time comes, I won't even have the chance to cultivate from the beginning. Ghost envoys? F***CK. There are ghost envoys. Wang Kai was speechless. He couldn't help but frown and ask in surprise, is there a king of hell? Is there a black and white impermanence? Bang. Bang bang. When he said this, green and red ghosts were shocked. They quickly kowtowed and said, Sect leader, please don't speak nonsense. You can't say their names so casually. That's right. Otherwise, Sect leader, your soul will be taken away and you will die. Green Ghost, if he summons the black and white impermanence, those two ghost envoys, won't we be safe? Red Ghost suddenly paused. Green Ghost was also stunned when he heard this. However, he quickly reacted and slapped Red Ghost's head into the ground. Bullshit. If the black and white impermanence really came, would we be safe? Don't be fooled by the fact that they usually don't pay attention to us, but if they encounter us, none of us will have a good ending. Green Ghost scolded harshly. Hearing the two of them arguing with each other over there, and even having thoughts of scheming against him, Wang Kai's face instantly darkened like ink. The corners of his mouth twitched slightly, and he reprimanded rather resentfully, the two of you are really too stupid. No wonder you used 7 years to reach a mere Tao profound realm. Such idiotic brains, 7 years is already a little too little. Bang. Bang. As he spoke, Wang Kai became angrier and angrier. He repeatedly slapped the two of them until they fell to the ground. Moreover, if you want to scheme against this sect master, you have to discuss it secretly, right? He had to be more discreet and careful, right? Do you think I'm that weak? Wang Kai snorted with disdain. He was truly shocked by the intelligence of these two ghosts. Sect master, please spare our lives. We didn't mean that. The green and red ghosts hurriedly begged for mercy. Their crying and tearing appearance really made people speechless to the extreme. Lone Soul Wild Ghost Domain, Ghost Tomb Forest, Ghost Venerable Cemetery. There was also the King of Hell and the Black and White Impermanence. Wang Kai frowned as he thought to himself. He was a little surprised by this Soul Break Valley. He shrugged his shoulders and said with a mocking smile, the Ghost King you mentioned just now, what level of Ghost Cultivator is he? What kind of status does he have in this Lone Soul Wild Ghost Domain? Reporting to Sect Master, the Ghost King's cultivation is at the Tao King realm. In the Lone Soul Wild Ghost Domain, he is the overlord of a region. Above the Ghost King, There is the even more powerful Ghost Emperor and the most powerful Ghost Emperor. Green Ghost said respectfully. Ghost Emperor, Ghost Emperor. The Ghost King was equivalent to the Tao King realm. In this way, just the ghost cultivators in the Lone Soul Wild Ghost domain were at the Tao Emperor or even Tao Emperor level. What about the stronger Ghost Tomb Forest and Ghost Venerable Cemetery? Thinking of this, the more Wang Kai thought about it, the more annoyed he became. If he wanted to pass through such a terrifying Soul Break Valley to reach the central wilderness, wouldn't he lose 10,000 lives? Then who was the person who received me previously? F*CKU, don't let me meet you in the future. Wang Kai thought fiercely with a dark face. It was only now that he understood that he had to repay the favor of the Double Sky Sovereign? Was there such a way to repay a favor? Fortunately, he didn't take the gold medal. If he had kept it, there might be some bad things waiting for him. When the green and red ghosts saw that Wang Kai's face was getting more and more unfriendly, they were so scared that they stopped talking. They trembled and knelt on the ground, not daring to make a sound. Is there any other way to let me pass through the Ghost Venerable Cemetery and reach the central wilderness? Wang Kai frowned and asked in a low voice. When the green and red ghosts heard this, they looked at each other and shook their heads. Lad, it's not difficult to leave the Soul Break Valley. Lord Cat can help you. However, you have to wait for a year. My cultivation has not fully recovered yet. In the heaven-reaching tower, Lord Cat was stroking his long whiskers and floating in the palace happily. When Wang Kai heard this, he raised his eyebrows. What if he had to wait for a year? If he had to accompany these lonely souls and wild ghosts, he would definitely suffocate to death before he was torn apart by the ghost cultivators. Otherwise, you can also use that summoning technique to summon the Master of the Celestial Master Mansion. Although it will be difficult and troublesome to bring you through the Soul Break Valley, as long as you don't fight and don't be too presumptuous, it shouldn't be difficult for you to reach the central wilderness. As Lord Cat's voice sounded again, Wang Kai's mouth twitched. The summoning technique could indeed summon Lan Qianqiu, but it was useless. The summoned protector beast could only help to fight against the enemy, but it couldn't escort him to the central wilderness. Once it appeared, he would have to fight against the enemy. Otherwise, it would be useless. Even if he fought along the way, it would be difficult for two fists to fight against four hands. Who knew how many celestial masters like Lan Qianqiu were in the Soul Break Valley? Thinking of this, Wang Kai could only place his hopes on the system. He immediately activated it with his mind and opened it. When he saw the dazzling array of treasures and weapons, as well as mantras and superpowers, his eyes suddenly narrowed. The way of ghost control, the way of corpse and ghost, they were all among the 3,000 great ways. It was the way of corpse and ghost, the pinnacle of ghost cultivation. The other was the natural enemy of ghost cultivators, the way of ghost control. Looking at the two mantras, Wang Kai raised his eyebrows slightly. He smiled calmly and said, "So the way of corpse and ghost is the way of corpse and ghost. If I become a ghost cultivator, hundreds of millions of years ago, I had cultivated the way of corpse and ghost to its peak. It's not an exaggeration to call me the ancestor. Congratulations to the host for successfully bragging. You have received 100,000 experience and 100 bragging points. Congratulations to the host for successfully cultivating the way of corpse and ghost." Buzz. Suddenly, the color of Wang Kai's skin changed. His hair turned snow-white, and his face and skin turned pale. His pupils were terrifyingly pale. Waves of black deathly aura began to circulate around his body. Wang Kai could clearly sense that there wasn't a drop of blood flowing through his body. Everything had turned white and was completely solidified. His breathing had also stopped. His body was cold but not stiff. God! Sect leader, how did you die? Could it be that the sect leader's reaction was very slow? Did he just realize that we were evil ghosts? Is that why he was scared to death when he regained his senses? That must be it. When ordinary people see us, their first reaction is to run for their lives. The sect leader was not afraid of us before because his reaction was too slow. The green ghost and red ghost were shocked when they saw this. They looked at each other in surprise and touched their noses proudly. Chapter 442. Bang! Bang! Suddenly, Wang Kai raised his arm and slapped the red ghost and the green ghost. The red ghost and the green ghost tumbled a few times. They crawled up from the ground in shock and raised their hands to wipe the dirt on their faces. They looked at each other and exclaimed in shock, "This actually has intelligence?" That's right. Even if he is a natural ghost cultivator, his soul will not be separated from his body after death. However, it is impossible for him to have consciousness. That's right. He needs at least 7 days to regain consciousness. After death, whether a person could become a ghost cultivator depended on how he died. If his divine soul was obliterated, he could not become a ghost cultivator. If his divine soul was intact, he could become a ghost cultivator after being affected by the yin qi of breaking Spirit Mountain. However, if he wanted to regain his consciousness and memory, he would need 7 days. When the red and green ghosts thought of this, they couldn't help but recall Wang Kai's bragging. For a moment they were stunned. Could it be that he is the founder of the Ghost Cultivator sect? 7 days? Wang Kai raised his eyebrows slightly when he heard this. He glanced at them indifferently, shrugged his shoulders, and said with a chuckle, "This sect master is the sect master of the sky-defying sect. Hundreds of millions of years ago, I was the Lord of the universe. Today we are fated to meet, so I will accept you two as disciples of the sky-defying sect and temporarily lead the ghost shrine." Congratulations to the host for successfully bragging. You have received 100,000 experience and 100 bragging points. Congratulations to the host for successfully breaking through to the 3rd grade Tao Emperor realm. Join the Discord sect and lead the Hall of Ghosts? The green ghost and the red ghost were stunned. It took them a while to react. They looked at Wang Kai in astonishment. Sect leader, how many experts are there in your Discord sect? The red ghost asked respectfully. The green ghost was also curious. There was even excitement in his eyes. If the Discord sect was really awesome, wouldn't he be able to live a good life in the future? For example, he would have tombs, tombstones, and first-class coffins. He would have everything he needed. Sect leader, are we really in charge of the Ghost God Hall? Green Ghost asked tentatively. Wang Kai raised his eyebrows when he saw this. He looked at them with appreciation, nodded slightly, and said with a smile, "Yes, including this sect master, there are only 5 people in the heaven-defying sect. Including you two, there are 7. Plop, plop. As soon as these words were spoken, it was like a basin of cold water had been poured over them. Immediately, the green and red ghosts were so agitated that they fell to the ground, and their expressions were extremely stunned. Lord Hierarch, you must be striving for perfection, right? I think the few experts in the Discord sect must be extremely terrifying. Green Ghost swallowed a mouthful of saliva and looked at Wang Kai expectantly. Red Wraith also looked at Wang Kai with hope. As the sect leader, Wang Kai was at the Tao Emperor realm. Presumably, the others would not be too far off. Of course, I have to strive for perfection. I am now at the Tao Emperor realm. The Golden Lion Hall Master is at the Peak God realm. The Mighty Hall Master is at the Divine Path realm. The Grand Elder is at the Immortal Emperor realm. There is also a demonic cultivator who is the sect protector demon Honorable. Wang Kai shrugged his shoulders and said in an extremely calm manner. Since he wanted to take the green and red ghosts into the sect, he had to let them understand. Moreover, the 2 ghosts were quite interesting. To Wang Kai, taking them into the sect was the most suitable. No matter how strong the experts were, If Wang Kai did not like them, it was impossible for them to join the Discord sect. Even if they were weak to the martial disciple realm, as long as Wang Kai found them interesting, he would take them into the sect. However, the green and red ghosts were already in a daze. They did not even hear what Wang Kai had said. Just the words God Emperor, Divine Path Realm, and Immortal Emperor were enough to stun the green and red ghosts. That is the truth. The two of you have to expand the Hall of Ghosts in the future. The wandering ghosts in the Soul Break Valley are not bad. Take them in. As for the other experts in the sect, I will introduce you to each other in the future. Now, bring me to see the Ghost King. Wang Kai shrugged his shoulders and said with a calm smile. How could the green and red ghosts listen to him? Until now, they had not come back to their senses. They had met weak forces before, but they had never met such a strange weak force. With an expert at the Dao Emperor realm, they could be ranked in the top 5 forces. However, just one Dao Emperor was not enough. They had to have at least tens of thousands of disciples. What made the green and red ghosts even more speechless was that the Hall Masters and the Grand Elder had not even reached the Dao realm. Green and red ghosts, the Ghost King asked you to keep an eye on the living beings entering the Soul Break Valley, but you are slacking off here. Do you want to die? Whoosh! Suddenly, a stern reprimand sounded. It immediately caused the green and red ghosts to recover. Their bodies were stiff as they slowly turned around. They looked at the young man who had appeared in front of them. Fear surfaced in their eyes. Ghost Inspector Finger. The young man's face was dark, and his clothes were extremely luxurious. If it were not for the death chi surrounding him, they would have mistaken him for a living human. Who is this ghost? Could it be that the living beings who just entered the Soul Break Valley were killed by the two of you? Now you want to eat them secretly? Bastard! Fortunately, I came in time. Otherwise, the Ghost King would be angry. The Ghost Finger snorted coldly and walked in front of Wang Kai. He flipped his hand and took out a transparent spherical space. The world in the palm. Wang Kai raised his eyebrows. Seeing the Ghost Finger raise his hand and grab his shoulder, he was angry and amused at the same time. He slapped the Ghost Finger back. Slap, bang, rumble. The Ghost Finger did not react at all. He was directly sent flying by the slap and smashed fiercely against the mountain wall. A mere Daolord wants to take this sect master into the world in the palm? What kind of ghosts are the subordinates of the Ghost King? How can such idiots be inspectors? Wang Kai's expression was rather disdainful as he curled his lips. The green and red ghosts were delighted when they saw this. They naturally expected that the Ghost Finger would not have a good ending, so they didn't tell the Ghost Finger about Wang Kai. Now that they saw the Ghost Finger suffer, they stood up on the spot and clapped their hands while cheering. Haha, Sect Master is truly wise and mighty. This Ghost Finger is truly detestable. He bullies the weak and fears the strong. He's like a coward before the Ghost King, but he often puts on a condescending attitude before us. He's been oppressing us for a long time. Green Ghost gritted his teeth and laughed coldly. Red Ghost's face was filled with delight as well. He clapped his hands and cheered. Well said. Sect Master, you might not know, but this Ghost Finger is the most disgusting ghost cultivator. He specializes in eating the fingers and toes of living beings. It can be said that it makes one want to vomit. Presumptuous! Presumptuous! How dare the two of you? You actually dared to collude with this ghost to harm me. Bang! The Ghost Finger berated sternly as he stood up from the pile of rocks. He glared at the green and red ghosts with a livid expression. His eyes were filled with icy killing intent. You have to call me Sect Master, understand? If you continue to call me Sect Master, this ghost, forget it. You've become a ghost after death, yet you still dare to act so pretentiously. You're courting death, and you've even bullied the ghosts of my sect. Since it's like that, then don't be a ghost anymore. Disappear forever. Wang Kai waved his hand with a rather impatient expression, and a pressure instantly swept out. The ghost finger's expression instantly changed when he sensed the terrifying aura. Only now did he realize how formidable Wang Kai's cultivation was. However, there was no room for regret. Before he could let out a shrill cry, his figure was crushed into pieces by the pressure, and even his soul was dispersed. Chapter 443. How dare you disrespect me? Where did you come from? How dare you disrespect me? Tear him apart, but leave the green and red ghosts behind. I want them to know the price of betrayal. From the small mountain of white bones, a sinister sneer came out. The green and red ghosts shuddered when they heard it. They rolled their eyes and shrank behind Wang Kai, not daring to move at all. Even though they knew that Wang Kai was stronger than the Ghost King, the fear that had accumulated over the years could not be completely erased in such a short time. Tear him apart. In an instant, the hundreds of ghost cultivators stood up and stared at Wang Kai coldly. Waves of black death chi swirled around, causing a chilly wind to blow around. Tear who? You bunch of rotten shrimps, who do you want to tear apart? Who else can he tear apart? Wang Kai raised his eyebrows slightly. With a disdainful expression, he snorted and waved his hand. Buzz! Rumble! Rumble! Before the hundreds of ghost cultivators could even move, they were already sent flying by the terrifying pressure. Like shooting stars, they were sent flying in all directions in the sky. And you call yourself the Ghost King. Can't you stand up and speak? Why are you hiding? Could it be that you're a ghost who died for no reason? Since that's the case, I'll fulfill your wish today. Restriction: seal the sky and lock the earth. Buzz. Suddenly, Wang Kai took out the 10,000 formation restriction diagram. With a touch of his spiritual energy, dozens of black formation chains penetrated the diagram and flew up to the small mountain of white bones. You're still a spirit cultivator. This can't be. Walala bang, bang, bang. On top of the white bone hill, a skinny middle-aged man was screaming non-stop. His entire body was bound by formation rune chains, and he was being dragged down the mountain with a bounce. You're still acting tough. Bang! Who told you to act tough? Bang! The green and red ghosts mustered up their courage and kicked the Ghost King. The Ghost King was sent tumbling backward and quickly hid behind Wang Kai again. Bastard! How dare you treat this Ghost King like this? The Ghost King sternly shouted. Its white eyes were glaring at the green and red ghost. As it grinned, it revealed two sharp fangs. What can you do if I treat you like this? Bang! Bang! Aren't you still holding on? Pretentious prick! Bang! Bang! The green ghost and red ghost gradually became more courageous. Seeing that the Ghost King was unable to move at all, they immediately became interested. They excitedly went forward and raised their feet to greet the Ghost King. Haha, not bad, not bad. You have the demeanor of the Discordant Sky Church's churchmaster. Wang Kai raised his eyebrows and shrugged. Then, he chuckled with an appreciative expression. Hearing this, the red and green ghosts became even more excited. In the end, they rode on the Ghost King's body one after another and slapped their mouths non-stop. The Ghost King, whose face was already pale and bloodless, was whipped until his skin and flesh exploded. However, what was revealed was still white flesh and blood, which looked extremely horrifying. Stop fighting! Stop hitting him! This Ghost King submits. Submits? The Ghost King repeatedly begged for mercy. Even though he was angry, he could not bear such humiliation. The Ghost King, who was supposed to be his subordinate, was now riding on his body and slapping him. Such humiliation was unbearable for anyone who had been in a high position for a long time. Sect Master, I think that the Ghost King's cowardly character is not enough to join our Discordant Sky Church, Green Ghost said with a serious expression. At the same time, he secretly winked at Red Ghost. Red Ghost saw this and understood what he meant. The two brothers had been together for many years. How could they not understand each other's meaning? He immediately stepped forward and said seriously, "Sect Master, I think that Green Ghost is right. If you want to join the Discordant Sky Church, you must have a noble character and an indomitable spirit. The Ghost King is such a piece of trash. I only gave him a few slaps, and he's begging for mercy and submitting. He's really degrading." "Red Ghost, I am the Hall Master. You are the Deputy Hall Master. You must call yourself the Deputy Hall Master." Before Wang Kai could speak, Green Ghost berated him with a face full of displeasure. Such words immediately caused Red Ghost to fly into a rage. He turned around and glared at him, shouting, "Bullshit! You and I are at the same level. Why should I be the Deputy Hall Master when you are the Hall Master? I am your big brother. And I am your big brother." Bang! Bang bang bang! In an instant, the Green Ghost and Red Ghost began to fight. Every move was ruthless and showed no mercy. This scene caused the corner of Wang Kai's mouth to twitch slightly. Putting aside the Ghost King's personality for the time being, just these two fellows alone weren't any better. "Senior, even though you are a Ghost Emperor realm expert and can do whatever you want in the Ghost domain, once you reach the Ghost Graveyard, you will become the lowest level of Ghost Cultivator. However, if you can let this king go and promise not to disturb this Ghost King's position as the Overlord, this king can tell you a piece of news. A piece of news that will definitely tempt you." The Ghost King snorted sinisterly. The flesh on his face was squirming and recovering. In particular, the eyeball that had been dislocated swayed and returned to its original position. It looked rather unsightly. "Senior?" Wang Kai raised his eyebrows when he heard this. It was the first time he had been called senior. However, looking at the Ghost King's appearance, he felt a little sick of it. He shrugged his shoulders and smiled faintly. "Forget about senior. You should just call me Sect Master. As for the information you speak of, if you want your soul to scatter, then bear with it and don't say it." Swish. When these words were spoken, the Ghost King's expression immediately changed. His eerily white eyes darted around as he looked at Wang Kai, whose face was full of smiles but seemed to be filled with indifference. For a moment, he was unsure whether Wang Kai would dare to kill him or not. It had to be said that Wang Kai's current appearance was especially frightening when he smiled. According to the soul-devouring Ghost Emperor, a ghost feast will be held in the Ghost Graveyard soon. There will only be one winner, and he will be able to go to the Ghost Sovereign Graveyard to cultivate in the Heavenly Ghost Sovereign's Tomb Palace. The Ghost King gritted his teeth and said, in the situation where he was unsure of Wang Kai's intentions, he could only take a gamble. Now that he had said it, the Ghost King inexplicably let out a sigh of relief. Ghost Feast? Ghost Sovereign Graveyard? Heavenly Ghost Sovereign? Wang Kai raised his eyebrows when he heard this. Hearing this name, could it be that he was going to eat ghosts? Ghosts eating ghosts? Determine victory and defeat? Competing to see who can eat more? Wang Kai rubbed his nose and asked with a strange expression. Cough cough, yes and no. When two sides fight, the winner has the right to devour the loser. In this way, he can obtain an instant increase in his Ghost Dao cultivation and directly deprive the opponent of his Ghost Dao cultivation. The Ghost King was a little speechless as he quickly explained. Wang Kai nodded slightly when he heard this. In this way, the real winner of the battle was still the winner of the battle. However, according to the habits of ghost cultivators, if they lost, they would definitely be devoured by the opponent. To be able to devour the opponent in the battle and obtain an increase in their cultivation, they could use this to deal with the following battles. Which ghost cultivator would choose to give up? However, this was also what Wang Kai wanted. He was thinking about how to pass through the Ghost Sovereign Graveyard. Wasn't now a good time? Chapter 444. Since you said that this sect master would be tempted, then it proves that the ghost cultivators of the ghost realm can also go to the ghost graveyard to participate in the ghost feast, right? Wang Kai's eyes narrowed slightly as he smiled playfully. However, this smile terrified the Ghost King. He hurriedly lowered his head and averted his gaze. His voice trembled slightly as he said, "That's right. There are a total of 3 spots. The soul-devouring Ghost Emperor will decide who can go." The soul-devouring Ghost Emperor was a Dao Emperor-level expert. The peak ghost cultivator of the ghost region? Wang Kai shrugged. With a flip of his hand, he summoned all the ghost cultivators that were flying in the air. He pointed at them and smiled faintly. "Green and red ghosts, I'll leave them to you in the future. The Ghost King is also among them." Bang! Bang! The green and red ghosts, who were fighting fiercely, stopped when they heard this. They looked at each other with disdain and annoyance in their eyes. Naturally, no one was willing to let go of the position of Hall Master of the Ghost God Hall. "Sect Master, the position of Hall Master should be taken by me." Green Ghost patted his chest and said proudly. Red Ghost was even more unwilling to fall behind. He cupped his fists and said respectfully, "Sect Master, the Ghost God Hall should still be taken over by me." Red Ghost, don't tell me you want to fight? This time I won't show you any mercy. Bullsh *T, did you show mercy just now? Let's fight. Do you think I'm afraid of you? Seeing that the green and red ghosts were about to fight, Wang Kai was speechless. He frowned and waved his hand, saying, "Both of you will be hall masters for now. Whoever can make outstanding contributions to the Ghost God Hall will take over the position of Hall Master." A gleam of light flickered through Green Ghost's eyes when he heard that. He immediately agreed to it. He could not help but look at Red Ghost in disdain as he said disdainfully, "Red Ghost, it would be a piece of cake for me to defeat you, but since the leader has spoken, I'll have to obey. I'll use my brain to make you yield." Fuck me, Green Ghost, you're too good at acting. Unfortunately, this Hall Master has the same intention. I'll let you know that intelligence is a very good thing. Red Ghost rolled his eyes and sneered. Seeing that they were quarreling endlessly and neither side was willing to give in, the Ghost King and his subordinates all felt uneasy. Was he really going to become a subordinate of the red and green ghosts? All the ghostly cultivators present were stronger than them. In the past, they had even ordered them around. If they were to become his subordinates, how good would it be? Most importantly, they couldn't get over their pride. The Ghost King was secretly worried. His eyes flashed as he glanced at Wang Kai. In the end, he gritted his teeth and said, "Sect Master, you said earlier that as long as I tell you the news, you will let me go and won't shake my position as the Overlord. These ghost cultivators were all recruited by the Ghost King many years ago. If they were all taken away by the green and red ghosts, then what was he? Wouldn't he become a general without an army? Who do you think you are?" Bang! Bang bang! "Now, you have to listen to my orders. Do you understand?" Bang! Bang bang! The green and red ghosts kicked the Ghost King in unison, causing him to tumble a few times. Such a scene instantly caused the ghostly cultivators to panic. They looked at each other and called out respectfully in unison, "Greetings, Hall Master, Sect Master." "You, Sect Master, you can't go back on your words." The Ghost King's eyes were filled with anger as he glared at Wang Kai. Seeing this, the green and red ghosts wanted to go up and greet them. However, they were stopped by Wang Kai with a wave of his hand. "The Ghost Feast is going to be held in the Ghost Graveyard. Even if the ghostly cultivators of the Ghost Realm went, how could they be a match for the ghostly cultivators of the Ghost Graveyard? Since the soul-devouring Ghost Emperor spread the news of such a good opportunity, why didn't he go himself?" Wang Kai said with a mocking smile with his hands behind his back. Whoosh! Plop! The Ghost King was shocked when he heard Wang Kai's words. He fell to the ground and looked at Wang Kai in panic. He hurriedly kowtowed and explained, sect leader, please don't misunderstand. This lowly one has no intention of framing you. Haha, I didn't say that you wanted to frame me. Hall Master Green Ghost, Hall Master Red Ghost, bring them all and follow me to the soul-devouring Ghost Emperor. Wang Kai shrugged and said with a casual smile. Whoosh. Under the orders of the Green and Red Ghosts, the subordinates of the Ghost King became members of the Ghost Shrine. They respectfully followed behind the Green and Red Ghosts. None of the ghostly cultivators dared to look at the Ghost King. At this moment, the Ghost King's heart was filled with despair and regret. He had planned to spread the news of the Ghost Feast in order to take a gamble. If Wang Kai didn't know about this, then he had made the right bet. The result was similar to what the Ghost King had expected. Wang Kai indeed didn't know about the Ghost Feast. But in the end, he couldn't change the fact that he was going to be captured by the Green and Red Ghosts. He couldn't use this to push Wang Kai into the abyss. Now that everything had been exposed, the Ghost King's mind was filled with thoughts of how to save his life and how to avoid being killed in a thunderous rage. However, he couldn't think of a way along the way. If he met the soul-devouring Ghost Emperor and Wang Kai found out and confirmed that he wanted to frame him, then he was doomed. He didn't know that Wang Kai had already confirmed this from the beginning. He didn't kill the Ghost King because it was useless. If he had a cultivation level above the Ghost Emperor, he would be rewarded with experience if he killed the Ghost King. But he was a Ghost King. Even if he killed the Ghost King, there would be no reward. He might as well stay and be a fighter for the Green and Red Ghosts in the Hall of Ghosts. As Wang Kai and the others hurried on, 3 days later, they finally arrived at the depths of the Lonely Soul's wild ghost region. The deathly aura here was extremely dense and huge. It was many times denser than the border area where the Ghost King was. If a ghost cultivator could cultivate here, it would definitely make a breakthrough in his cultivation level extremely fast. Just as they arrived here, the ghost cultivators behind them had already loosened their cultivation levels and showed signs of a breakthrough. From this, it could be seen how strong the deathly aura here was. Oh, isn't this the Ghost King of Baigu Mountain? Why didn't you keep an eye on those weak living beings at the entrance? Why did you come to the depths of the Lonely Soul's wild ghost region? Haha, it seems that the Ghost King has made a breakthrough in his cultivation level? Has he reached the level of a Ghost Emperor? He didn't choose the weak living beings at the entrance who had just entered the Valley of Broken Souls, but came here to hunt the strong living beings? As a few mocking laughs rang out, the Ghost King's face suddenly turned gloomy and terrifying. He gritted his teeth and glared at the 2 groups of ghost cultivators in the void. There were more than 20 ghost cultivators in total. The weakest of them was at the level of a Ghost Emperor, and the strongest was at the peak of the Ghost Emperor realm. The 2 middle-aged men in the lead were old acquaintances of the Ghost King. They were the 3 Ghost Kings at the border area of the Lonely Soul's wild ghost region. However, these 2 had broken through to the Ghost Emperor realm. Naturally, they left the border area and chose to come to the depths of the Lonely Soul's wild ghost region to cultivate with the help of a stronger deathly aura. Chapter 445. Humph, amnesiac ghost, mad devil, if it weren't for the 2 of you working together and taking all the living beings in the valley for yourselves, with your talents, you would still be far from being able to defeat me. The Ghost King snorted coldly. Upon hearing these words, the 2 Ghost Emperors were not affected. Instead, they looked at each other and smiled in an extremely casual manner. A wise man submits to circumstances. In a place like that where the deathly aura is thin, if you don't use extreme measures, how can you go further? Ghost Emperor Amnesia said with a faint smile. The mad devil Ghost Emperor was rather agreeable as well, and he had his hands behind his back as he said with a smile, "You're right. If the 3 of us had always competed fairly all those years ago, then who knows when we would be able to break through to the Ghost Emperor realm. Presently, there are very few living beings that are weaker than the Tao Emperor realm, that enter Soulbreak Valley. Haha, this proves that our decision all those years ago was right. As soon as these words were spoken, the Ghost King's eyes immediately became even gloomier. Back then, at the edge of the Lonely Soul Wild Ghost Domain, he was one of the 3 Ghost Kings along with these 2 Ghost Emperors. They were in charge of the border areas. Once any living beings entered the Soulbreak Valley, those weaker than the Ghost King realm would be captured and devoured by the 3 Ghost Kings. But in the end, the Amnesiac Ghost and the Mad Demon Ghost secretly joined forces and monopolized all living beings below the Ghost King realm, directly preventing the Ghost King from devouring living beings to break through the Ghost Dao cultivation. As a result, the Amnesiac Ghost and the Mad Demon Ghost both broke through to the Ghost Emperor realm and obtained the right to cultivate in the depths of the Ghost Domain. From then on, the Ghost King, who originally thought that he could enjoy all the living for himself, was shocked to find that because of the Amnesia Ghost and the Mad Devil Ghost's wanton killing, rumors were spreading outside Soulbreak Valley. If one was below the Dao Emperor realm, then one couldn't enter Death Gorge, otherwise one would definitely die. Until now, the Ghost King had remained at the pinnacle level, unable to break through to the Ghost Emperor realm. All of this was caused by the Amnesiac Ghost and the Mad Demonic Ghost, so how could they not be angry? Hee, Amnesiac Ghost, Mad Devil, do you know who this lord beside this Ghost King is? The Ghost King narrowed his eyes and smiled cruelly. Such words instantly caused the pupils of the 2 great Ghost Emperors to shrink. The Ghost King actually addressed this young ghost cultivator as Lord? What shocked the 2 Ghost Emperors even more was that they were actually unable to detect the cultivation level of this young man. If he was a subordinate of the Ghost King, it would be fine, but he was addressed as Lord. If that was the case, his cultivation level would definitely be higher than that of the Ghost Kings. If even a Ghost Emperor could not detect his cultivation level, could it be that his cultivation level was higher than that of the Ghost Emperors? When they thought up to here, a wisp of astonishment flashed in the eyes of the 2 great Ghost Emperors. They looked at each other, stepped forward, cupped their fists and greeted, "May I know Senior's name?" Bang! Bang! However, before Wang Kai could speak, the green and red ghosts slapped the Ghost King twice, causing him to spin around. "You are my subordinate. Don't you know how to introduce me?" Green Ghost scolded unhappily. Red Wraith's face was also cold as he angrily snorted. "Puny White Bone Ghost King, you can choose not to introduce Green Wraith, but if you don't introduce this Hall Master, do you want your soul to scatter?" "You bang, bang. Impudent. Call him Hall Master." The Ghost King suddenly felt that he had lost all his face. Just as he was about to get angry, he was kicked a few more times by the red and green ghosts. He wanted to fight back, but because of Wang Kai's power, he could only endure it with a gloomy expression. However, when such a scene fell into the eyes of the 2 Ghost Emperors, they had another thought. They couldn't detect Wang Kai's cultivation level, but the green and red ghosts were clearly at the Ghost Profound Realm. A mere Ghost Profound Realm cultivator could actually treat a Ghost King like this? Could it be that this young man wasn't strong? The Ghost King should be stupid, right? Ghost Emperor Amnesia said with a frown. The Mad Demon Ghost Emperor nodded his head in agreement and laughed disdainfully. "It seems that we dealt a great blow to him back then, directly causing him to become an idiot. I am the sect master of the Sky-Defying sect. My name is Wang Kai. Since the strength of your ghost cultivators is not bad, you should all join the Sky-Defying sect. You will belong to the Ghost Shrine and be under the command of the green and red ghosts." Wang Kai waved the folding fan in his hand and smiled indifferently. Whoosh! When these words came out, the Mad Demon Ghost Emperor and Ghost Emperor Amnesia were stunned. Soon after, they were furious and scolded in unison. "Impudent! You dare to ask us to be the subordinates of a mere Ghost Profound Realm cultivator? It seems that you aren't strong either?" "Humph, the Ghost King was suppressed into an idiot by us brothers. He was actually deceived by a mere ghost cultivator like you. Fine, Ghost King, you will follow this Ghost Emperor from now on. Ghost Emperor Amnesia sneered. Was it because of the green and red ghosts' cultivation level that caused them to be underestimated? Seeing this, Wang Kai raised his eyebrows and looked at them with a rather playful expression. He said with a playful smile, "Are you sure you want to resist this sect master? Before that, you must be clear that even the heavenly ghost sovereign is just a piece of trash in front of this sect master." Congratulations to the host for successfully bragging. You have received 100,000 experience and 100 bragging points. Congratulations to the host for successfully breaking through to the 4th stage Dao Emperor realm. Ha ha, no wonder the Ghost King would follow this kid after becoming an idiot. Turns out that he is very good at bragging. Ghost Emperor Amnesia suddenly burst into laughter. Idiot. Bullshit. You are courting death. In an instant, the Ghost King and the green and red ghosts mocked one after another. The many ghost cultivators following behind Wang Kai also had looks of disdain on their faces. They looked at the two ghost emperors as if they were looking at idiot. A ghost and a slap. Reflect on your actions first. Come and find this sect master after you have thought it through. Wang Kai shrugged his shoulders and smiled impatiently. As his voice fell, he raised his hand and swung it down in an extremely casual manner. Slap, slap, bang, rumble. Before the two ghost emperors could defend themselves, 2 slaps landed on their faces. Their bodies flew backwards like shooting stars, causing smoke and dust to rise from the ground. Trees and rocks were all sent flying. Your cultivation level, cough cough. This. How can you be so strong? Damn Ghost King, how dare you trick us? This scene caused the other ghost emperors to be startled. Their white eyes widened as they stared at the two ghost emperors, who were lying on the ground, screaming miserably. For a moment, they were unable to recover their wits. Although they were also at the Ghost Emperor stage, they were not at the peak. The Amnesiac Ghost Emperor and the Mad Demon Ghost Emperor were at the peak and were their leaders. However, now, they had been sent flying with just 1 slap? Ghost King, I will leave them to you to educate. Green and red ghosts, accept them into the Ghost Deity Hall and head to the soul-devouring Ghost Emperor. Wang Kai shrugged his shoulders and smiled casually. Swoosh. Under the pressure of Wang Kai's strength, the 20 over Ghost Emperors did not dare to resist. They joined the Ghost Deity Hall and became the subordinates of the green and red ghosts. They were ordered around and did not dare to complain. The most miserable ones were the Amnesiac Ghost Emperor and the Mad Demon Ghost Emperor. They howled miserably as they were beaten by the Ghost King along the way. There were a few times when they could not help but want to kill the Ghost King. However, when they thought of Wang Kai's ability, they could only submit in the end. Their sullen appearance was no different from when the green and red ghosts had beaten up the Ghost King. Chapter 446. Lord Ghost Emperor, this matter has nothing to do with us. That's right, that's right. The Amnesia Ghost Emperor and I came with the intention of offering sacrifices. However, we were threatened by this ghost along the way. Therefore, I hope that Lord Ghost Emperor will show mercy. Plop, plop. As Wang Kai's true cultivation level was revealed, the Mad Devil Ghost Emperor and the Amnesia Ghost Emperor knelt on the ground one after another. They continuously kowtowed and begged for mercy towards the figure of death that was gradually condensing in the depths of the cold pool. That's right, we are the same. Lord Ghost Emperor, please kill this ghost and return us our freedom. We are willing to serve you to the best of our ability. At the same time, many ghost cultivators also knelt on the ground and kowtowed to the figure of death as they pleaded. Currently, the only ones left standing were the green and red ghosts and the Ghost King. The other ghost cultivators had all turned to the soul-devouring Ghost Emperor. You are truly impudent. Lord Sect Master was willing to fight the soul-devouring Ghost Emperor and even gave up the quota to enter the Ghost Graveyard to protect your safety. Now, you actually repay him in such a manner? Green Ghost berated in a stern voice. Red Ghost's face was also filled with anger. He lifted his leg and kicked a Ghost Cultivator, causing him to somersault. His voice was chilling as he reprimanded, "A bunch of spineless cowards! Ghost cultivators originally from White Bone Mountain, why aren't you scramming for this king? Don't tell me you want this king to personally kill all of you here?" The Ghost King's eyes were also gloomy as he shouted loudly. This scene immediately caused the Ghost cultivators to have extremely strange expressions. In particular, the Amnesia Ghost Emperor and the Mad Devil Ghost Emperor looked at the Ghost King strangely. As old rivals of many years, how could they not know the other party's character? The Ghost King was actually willing to protect Wang Kai and stand by his side. What exactly was wrong with him? Wang Kai was also extremely surprised by this. However, when he saw the slightly trembling bodies of the green and red ghosts and the Ghost King, as well as the anticipation in their eyes, he immediately understood. The green and red ghosts are afraid of death, and the Ghost King is also afraid of death. However, they are very clear that even if they stand on the side of the soul-devouring Ghost Emperor, they will still be killed by the Amnesia Ghost Emperor and the Mad Devil Ghost Emperor in the end. This is rather interesting. Wang Kai shrugged as he secretly thought to himself with a rather playful expression. Either way, he would die. Since that was the case, he might as well bet on Wang Kai. If he could win, he would definitely be able to exchange it for a chance of survival. Moreover, icing on the cake and providing timely assistance were two different things. If Wang Kai really won, not only would they survive, but they would also gain more trust from Wang Kai. Even though Wang Kai was very clear about their purpose, he was still willing to accept them. At least, they were still standing by his side. As for other things, since he had accepted them into the Sky Sect, he shouldn't be too suspicious. Looks like it's better to constantly strive for the best when accepting disciples. Otherwise, if I accept such a group of useless people, it will really bring shame to the reputation of the Sky Sect. It will also bring shame to the face of an invincible expert like me. Wang Kai pretended to be sad as he shook his head and sighed. Congratulations to the host for successfully bragging. You have received 100,000 experience and 100 bragging points. Congratulations to the host for successfully breaking through to the 5th grade Tao Emperor realm. Ha 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 ha! In an instant, loud laughter filled with mockery rang out from the depths of the cold pool and reverberated throughout the mountain forest. A mere 4th grade Ghost Emperor dares to set up a sect in the wild ghost region and even dare to behave atrociously in the cold corpse pool where I am at. You really don't know what death is. Swoosh. Immediately, an incomparably black figure walked out from the depths of the cold pool. His entire body was enveloped by black death chi, making it impossible to see the outline of his body or his appearance. We pay our respects to the Ghost Emperor. Bang! Under the lead of the Amnesia Ghost Emperor and the Mad Devil Ghost Emperor, many ghost cultivators kowtowed and greeted him. Kowtow my ass! Do you think you can still be safe and sound? Wang Kai's expression was rather disdainful as he smiled coldly. He flipped his hand and slapped down. Palm print 8 desolation. Buzz. As a gigantic cyan palm print condensed and appeared in the sky, the terrifying pressure caused the numerous ghost cultivators to stiffen and be unable to move. Dark eyes were filled with extreme fear as they screamed in disarray. Lord Ghost Emperor, save us! No! Ghost Emperor, save! Bang! Rumble! Rumble! In an instant, the green palm slammed down, instantly blasting the bodies of the numerous ghost cultivators into smithereens. Even their divine souls dissipated. Hiss hiss! The green and red ghosts and the Ghost King inhaled a breath of cold air when they saw this scene. They were extremely frightened as they looked at the enormous palm imprint that had appeared on the ground. They secretly rejoiced. If they had really been like them earlier, it was likely that their souls would have already been scattered. They would not even have the chance to cultivate again. The funny thing was that these ghost cultivators were still hoping that the soul-devouring ghost emperor would save them. Battle Chi, you are not a ghost cultivator. No, you are a ghost cultivator. Why can you use Battle Chi? Who are you? The soul-devouring ghost emperor cried out in shock. It was not that he did not want to save them, but he was so shocked that he forgot to do so. As a ghost cultivator, he could only use Death Chi. How could he use Battle Chi? However, Wang Kai did not have any vitality to speak of. His body was surrounded by wisps of Death Chi, but the martial skill that he used was activated by Battle Chi. Although there were many geniuses in the world who could cultivate many Taoist skills, it was an unchangeable law that a ghost cultivator could only cultivate the ghost Tao. Hearing this, the green and red ghosts and the Ghost King immediately reacted. Only then did they remember that Wang Kai was using Battle Chi. How is this possible? Patter! Wang Kai waved his hand and opened the folding fan. His expression was quite calm as he said with a smile, "This sect master's power, not to mention a mere 8 desolates, even in the entire universe, no one can compare. As a ghost cultivator, I can use Battle Chi. What is the big deal? Haha, this is just a superficial skill." Congratulations to the host for successfully bragging. You have received 100,000 experience and 100 bragging points. This is just a superficial skill? When the green and red ghosts and the Ghost King heard this, their expressions froze. The corners of their mouths twitched violently. Although it was incredible that Wang Kai could use Battle Chi, this bragging was a little too much. Haha, it seems that your body constitution is very special. Coincidentally, I have not condensed my real body. Today, I will devour your soul and control your physical body. Don't worry, when I become a honorable, the 8 desolations will be in turmoil because of your body constitution. Swoosh! As the ear-piercing laughter fell, the soul-devouring ghost emperor turned into a cloud of black death chi and covered Wang Kai at an extremely fast speed. You are just a little ghost at the level of a ghost emperor. You don't even have bloodline power. How dare you say that you want to possess my body? Do you really not know how to write the word death? Wang Kai sneered disdainfully and waved the folding fan in his hand. Rumble. Bang. Your realm. This is impossible. You can use bloodline power. Are you a ghost emperor? Suddenly, the death chi figure of the soul-devouring ghost emperor was shattered. The pressure from the folding fan turned it into wisps of death chi and scattered in all directions. Chapter 447. Ghost Master? Is that the realm above the Ghost God realm? Is that the realm above the Tao God realm? Wang Kai raised his eyebrows and was surprised. It seemed that the soul-devouring ghost emperor had activated the power of his bloodline, but he could not use it. From his words, Sumo could tell that a ghost cultivator had to reach the Ghost Master realm in order to use the power of his bloodline. Wang Kai shrugged his shoulders as he looked at the death chi that had scattered into dozens of balls. He smiled calmly and said, "A ghost master is nothing. No matter how strong you are, you have to bow down to me." Congratulations to the host for successfully bragging. You have received 100,000 experience points and 100 bragging points. Congratulations to the host for successfully breaking through to the 6th grade Tao Emperor realm. Sect leader is mighty. Sect leader is domineering. Sect leader. Awesome. The green and red ghosts clapped their hands and cheered. The Ghost King also chimed in with a wonderful expression. Even though he knew that Wang Kai was definitely bragging, it was enough for him to defeat the soul-devouring ghost emperor. Are you going to swallow me? Buzz. The scattered wisps of death chi gathered together and gradually condensed into a tall and mighty figure. His face was still unclear, but the outline of his body was extremely clear. I'm merciful by nature. I don't want to kill the living. I won't kill the ghost cultivators who have died once. You're very lucky to have met such a kind-hearted sect master, Wang Kai shrugged and said with an indifferent smile. Congratulations to the host for successfully bragging. You have received 100,000 experience points and 100 bragging points. Merciful? Kind? The green and red ghosts and the Ghost King's lips twitched when they heard this. They could not help but look at the big palm print on the ground. Hundreds of ghost cultivators had been killed just now. The soul-devouring Ghost Emperor did not believe it either. If he really believed Wang Kai, it would be worse than death. You will meet a seal barrier from here to the Ghost Tomb Forest. Swallow this soul elixir and you will pass through the barrier. Once you reach the Ghost Tomb Forest, there will be a ghost servant leading the way. The soul-devouring Ghost Emperor said coldly. Swoosh, whoosh. 3 black soul pills penetrated the deathly aura and floated in front of Wang Kai after his voice sounded. They emitted waves of sinister deathly aura. Only by swallowing these pills will I receive guidance, right? Wang Kai's eyes narrowed. He flipped his hand and held the 3 pills in his palm. That's right, what are you going to do now? The soul-devouring Ghost Emperor coldly replied. However, he was stopped by Wang Kai with a wave of his hand. I'll give you one. Come with me to the ghost graveyard. From now on, you'll be a member of the Discord sect. If you have the ability, I'll give you the position of Hall Master of the Soul-Devouring Hall. Wang Kai shrugged and smiled with a playful expression. With a flick of his finger, he returned one of the soul cores to the soul-devouring Ghost Emperor. The soul-devouring Ghost Emperor unleashed wisps of deathly aura to support the soul core. He was silent for a moment before he sinisterly said, If I want to sit, I must sit in the position of Deputy Sect Master. I am a dignified Ghost Emperor and will soon step into the Ghost Sage level. How can I be a Hall Master like an ant? Before Wang Kai could reply, the green and red ghosts had already flown into a rage from embarrassment. They naturally knew that the soul-devouring Ghost Emperor was referring to them. Lord Sect Master, I believe that the soul-devouring Ghost Emperor is not qualified to join the Discord sect. Green Ghost spoke with a solemn face. Red Ghost's expression was also extremely solemn. He cupped his hands together and said, I agree. Why is he not qualified to join my sect? Wang Kai lifted his brows upon hearing this. His expression was quite curious as he looked at them. He's too good at acting pretentious. That's right, he's a pretentious prick. The green and red ghosts snorted with disdainful faces one after another. TSK, acting pretentious also depends on one's strength. Even if you want to act pretentious, can you? The soul-devouring Ghost Emperor laughed sinisterly. His ear-piercing laughter and the chill of the cold corpse pool immediately caused the green and red ghosts to involuntarily shudder. All right, this matter is settled. From now on, the soul-devouring Ghost Emperor will be the Hall Master of the Discord sect. We'll call it the Soul-Devouring Hall, Wang Kai said with a shrug. The green and red ghosts snorted upon hearing this. Although they were dissatisfied, they did not speak up to stop him. On the other hand, the soul-devouring Ghost Emperor laughed sinisterly and said, I've just said that even if I want to sit, I want to be the Deputy Sect Master. I can't be the Hall Master. What do you want to do? Bang! Suddenly, Wang Kai's figure flashed and directly appeared in front of the soul-devouring Ghost Emperor. He raised his hand and grabbed the soul-devouring Ghost Emperor's head. Then, he waved his folding fan, and a figure came into view. The small figure was not tall, less than 1 meter. He was slightly plump, bald, and had a long braid at the back of his head. His panda eyes looked as though they had been beaten purple. His appearance looked like that of a child. Damn! Is this the real body of the famous #1 ghost cultivator in the wild ghost region, the soul-devouring ghost emperor? Green Ghost exclaimed. With such a small stature, he can even squeeze through this hall master's crotch, right? Also, what's with those eyes? Don't tell me that the soul-devouring ghost emperor died because he was beaten black and blue. Red Ghost also grinned and said in surprise. Cough cough, no wonder the soul-devouring ghost emperor has always said that he has not formed his real body. No ghost cultivator has ever seen his real body. So this is what he looks like, the Ghost King said with a slightly stiff face. Hearing their words, the soul-devouring ghost emperor immediately gnashed his teeth in anger. He shook his body and tried to struggle, but he could not shake off Wang Kai's strength. He stretched out his arm, but he could not touch Wang Kai. You will definitely be the hall master of the soul-devouring hall. I have high hopes for you. Wang Kai narrowed his eyes and smiled with a surprised expression. He was also shocked by the soul-devouring ghost emperor's appearance and height. Wang Kai would not give up on such an interesting soul-devouring ghost emperor no matter what. You are mocking me, the soul-devouring ghost emperor said sternly. Wang Kai raised his eyebrows slightly when he heard that. He flipped his hand and released him. Waving his folding fan, he smiled faintly and said, No, in my opinion, you look very handsome like this. Very good. In the future, you don't have to hide anymore. Show your real face to others and you will make real friends. At the same time, you will also show a side of you that no one can compare to. Humph, I can't, cough cough, yes. Sect Master. The soul-devouring ghost emperor was about to coldly refuse, but under Wang Kai's cold gaze, he was so frightened that he immediately gritted his teeth and accepted the order. Let's go. We'll go to the Ghost Graveyard Forest and take down the champion of the Ghost Eater Conference. We'll also take a look to see if there are any beautiful female ghosts. Up until now, we haven't met any beautiful female ghosts. Wouldn't it be a great loss for a handsome and powerful man like me if I can't catch a glimpse of a beautiful female ghost? Wang Kai shook his head and sighed with a smile. With one hand behind his back and the other waving his folding fan, he leisurely stepped into the air. Congratulations to the host for successfully bragging. You have received 100,000 experience and 100 bragging points. Congratulations to the host for successfully breaking through to the 7th grade Dao Emperor realm. Chapter 448. In the depths of the Ghost Domain, at the edge of the Ghost Domain, a black barrier came into view. One could not see anything in the Ghost Grave Forest, nor could they sense any aura. Is this the seal that separates the Ghost Domain from the Ghost Grave Forest? Wang Kai raised his eyebrows slightly and asked curiously with a smile. The soul-devouring Ghost Emperor nodded slightly when he heard this. He flipped his hand and took out the black spirit pill. He threw it up, raised his head, opened his mouth, and swallowed the spirit pill. Ghost King, you should swallow one too. The green and red ghosts will hide for now. Wang Kai shrugged, took out a spirit pill, and threw it to the Ghost King. The azure and red ghosts widened their eyes upon seeing this, and they harumphed with extreme dissatisfaction. Seeing this, Wang Kai shook his head speechlessly and had to explain, Your cultivation levels are too low. If you enter the Ghost Grave Forest and participate in the Ghost Eater Convention, you will be easily eaten. Swoosh. As soon as these words were said, the green and red ghosts' faces immediately stiffened. They looked at each other and swallowed a mouthful of saliva. They nodded heavily and did not dare to complain anymore. Thinking about the strength of the Ghost Grave Forest, it was clear that the weakest there was at the Ghost Sage realm. With their Ghost Profound realm cultivation, they would definitely become food in the stomachs of other ghost cultivators. The Ghost King was not a fool. Holding the spirit pill, he felt tormented for a moment. He did not want to waste such a good opportunity. But if he participated in the Ghost Eater Convention, How could he be a match for the ghost cultivators in the Ghost Grave Forest? Sect Master, there is actually no need to gather 3 spots. This matter is all up to one's own will. I dare to participate because I can break through to the peak of the Ghost Sage Realm, and even the Ghost Immortal Realm the moment I enter the Ghost Grave Forest. The soul-devouring Ghost Emperor hesitated for a moment and said, "Instantly reach the peak of the Ghost Sage Realm, and even the Ghost Immortal Realm?" Wang Kai was startled when he heard this. He looked at him curiously and could not help but nod slightly with a smile. "That's right. The fact that you can say this proves that you are not bad." You're too kind, Sect Master. I've devoured most of the ghost cultivators who wanted to participate in the ghost feast in the Ghost Graveyard Forest. The death chi I've accumulated can help me reach the peak of the Ghost Sage Realm," the soul-devouring Ghost Emperor said awkwardly. Even the soul-devouring Ghost Emperor himself wasn't sure if he could reach the Ghost Immortal Realm. As for reaching the Ghost Saint Realm, Wang Kai could use his rank 10 bloodline to kill enemies above his level. Even if he had any ulterior motives, it would be useless. No wonder none of the 3 spots were given out. It turned out that they had swallowed all the ghost cultivators in the Ghost Realm. It had to be said that this soul-devouring Ghost Emperor was very powerful. From the beginning to the end, his plan was to use the quota to make the ghost cultivators take the initiative to come to him, and then devour them. Then who gave you these 3 spots? Wang Kai's brows furrowed as he asked curiously. The soul-devouring Ghost Emperor did not hide the truth. He pointed at the black barrier and said, "It was given to me by a ghost envoy from the Ghost Graveyard Forest. He picked the strongest ghost cultivators from the Ghost Realm and sent them here." Patter. Wang Kai nodded gently and swallowed the soul elixir with a flip of his hand. He turned to look at the Ghost King, who was struggling and hesitating, and suddenly slapped him on the head. Wah. The Ghost King was caught off guard and swallowed the soul elixir directly. He was so frightened that his face instantly changed. He kept clasping his throat, but he couldn't spit it out. He could only look at Wang Kai with a bitter and resentful expression. Wang Kai's mouth twitched when he saw this. He turned his hand and kept the green and red ghosts into the sky-reaching tower. He patted the Ghost King's shoulder and comforted him. "Don't worry. With me around, no one in the 8 Desolates can hurt you. Yes, no matter who it is, I only need to blow a breath to kill them." Congratulations to the host for successfully bragging. You have received 100,000 experience and 100 bragging points. Blow to death? Do you want me to die from bragging? The Ghost King was extremely bitter when he heard this. Now that things had come to this, it was too late to regret. You are now at the peak of the Ghost King realm. When you reach the Ghost Graveyard, you can at least reach the Ghost Emperor realm through the deathly aura there, the soul-devouring Ghost Emperor said with a sarcastic smile. So what if I reach the Ghost Emperor realm? Even if I am a Ghost Emperor, it will be a waste of effort. The Ghost King glared at the soul-devouring Ghost Emperor angrily and snorted in displeasure. Let's go. I vaguely remember that many years ago, I accidentally peed and created a graveyard here. I didn't expect that the later generations would call it the Ghost Graveyard. Sigh, it seems that I need to let them know that this ghost graveyard was created by my pee. Wang Kai shrugged and said with a calm smile, "Congratulations to the host for successfully bragging. You have received 100,000 experience and 100 bragging points. Congratulations to the host for successfully breaking through and reaching the 8th grade Dao Emperor realm." As soon as the voice fell, Wang Kai stepped into the barrier with one hand behind his back and the other waving a folding fan, under the shocked gazes of the soul-devouring Ghost Emperor and the Ghost King. The Ghost Graveyard was created by a pea? The Ghost King said in a daze. No, it was created by a kick. Bang! Suddenly, the soul-devouring Ghost Emperor came to his senses and kicked the Ghost King into the barrier. In the blink of an eye, He also stepped into the barrier. Buzz, buzz. In a pitch-black forest, there were endless tombs. Waves of deathly aura filled the air and chilly winds blew. The deathly aura that filled the air was extremely strong and powerful. The soul-devouring Ghost Emperor and the Ghost King broke through instantly without any difficulty. Everything happened naturally. Peak of the Ghost Saint realm. Still a little lacking. The soul-devouring Ghost Emperor smacked his lips and said with dissatisfaction in his eyes. The Ghost King, who was beside him, climbed up from the ground. Just as he was about to get angry with the soul-devouring Ghost Emperor, he realized that his cultivation had reached the peak of the Ghost Emperor realm. He was only one step away from reaching the Ghost Emperor realm. Gosh! The Ghost Graveyard is really a good place. If I can continue to cultivate here, reaching the Ghost God realm is just around the corner, the Ghost King exclaimed. Wang Kai shrugged when he heard this. He looked quite disdainful as he said, "A mere ghost graveyard is nothing. If I want to go, I have to go to the most awesome ghost venerable graveyard. That place was created by this sect master's fart. It's much better than peeing." Congratulations to the host for successfully bragging. You have received 100,000 experience and 100 bragging points. A ghost sovereign graveyard created by a fart. When the soul-devouring Ghost Emperor and the Ghost King heard these words, the corners of their mouths twitched. They looked as if they were having a spasm. They were speechless. The three of you, follow me. The Ghost Eater Convention has begun. Today is the second day of the convention. The results will be out tomorrow. Swoosh! Suddenly, a woman in a snow-white dress appeared. Her appearance was pretty and rather pleasing to the eye. However, her bearing seemed to be slightly icy cold and merciless. Her pale face, pale hair, and lips that were red like blood. Although she was alluring, she also gave off an extremely dangerous feeling. Greetings to the White Impermanence Ghost Messenger. When the soul-devouring Ghost Emperor saw this, he quickly went down on one knee and kowtowed. However, just as he bent over, he was stopped by Wang Kai. I don't care if she is the White Impermanence or the Black Impermanence. As the Hall leader of the Sky Sect, I even have to fight against the heavens. What is a mere netherworld to me? Don't you know that the netherworld was created by a spit of saliva from me? Wang Kai said with a calm smile. Congratulations to the host for successfully bragging. You have received 100,000 experience and 100 bragging points. Congratulations to the host for successfully breaking through to the 9th grade Dao Emperor realm. Chapter 449. The netherworld was actually spat out by a mouthful of saliva. Hearing this, the soul-devouring Ghost Emperor was so frightened that his face turned pale. He stared at Wang Kai in astonishment. He never thought that Wang Kai would dare to brag in such a manner in front of a White Impermanence ghost servant. Even if he wanted to brag, shouldn't he have done it behind his back? However, something that surprised the soul-devouring Ghost Emperor happened. White Impermanence didn't seem to be affected. He just glanced at Wang Kai indifferently and said, "Let's go. It's difficult for you to fight today. If you have the guts, you can go and have a try tomorrow." He didn't get angry? The soul-devouring Ghost Emperor was stunned. He looked at White Impermanence, who turned around and walked in front of him. He couldn't help but whisper, "Soul Reaper, Black and White Impermanence, it doesn't match their reputation. Hee, now you know? My power is unfathomable. Not to mention the Black and White Impermanence, even the King of Hell has to respectfully greet me when he sees me." Wang Kai shrugged his shoulders and smiled with an indifferent expression. He gently fanned himself and followed White Impermanence. Congratulations to the host for successfully bragging. You've received 100,000 experience and 100 bragging points. Even ghosts don't believe you. The soul-devouring Ghost Emperor and the Ghost King looked at each other, and the corners of their mouths twitched violently. Although they didn't know why white impermanence didn't get angry, they definitely didn't believe Wang Kai. He was definitely bragging again. If the system can bring Sun Wukong here, even the king of hell would be so scared that he would crawl under the table. Sigh, it seems impossible. Wang Kai shrugged and shook his head as he thought to himself. Host, the summoning function can be upgraded. Together with the great summoning technique, you can summon any creature across the heavens. Swoosh. Hearing this prompt, Wang Kai's footsteps suddenly stopped. The joy in his eyes was extremely strong. He hurriedly urged, quickly upgrade the summoning function. Congratulations to the host for successfully upgrading the summoning function. 5,000 bragging points have been consumed. 5,000 bragging points. Damn it. Wang Kai's face suddenly darkened. He wanted to slap himself. It was because he was too excited that he didn't ask for the required bragging points. How much bragging points do I need to use the great summoning skill? Wang Kai frowned, and his tone was a little stiff as he urged his will. Host, cultivate the Tao of summoning and use 300 bragging points to cultivate the great summoning technique. Phew! Upon hearing this notification, Wang Kai secretly heaved a sigh of relief. He immediately shrugged his shoulders and said with a faint smile, hundreds of millions of years ago, I was inspired and created the summoning path. Now that I think about it, I really miss it. Congratulations to the host for successfully bragging. You have received 100,000 experience and 100 bragging points. Congratulations to host for successfully breaking through and reaching the first stage Tao Saint Realm. Congratulations to the host for successfully cultivating the path of summoning. Sect Master, what happened to you? Could it be that you've bragged too much just now and now you're regretting it? The soul-devouring Ghost Emperor and the Ghost King were stunned. At this moment, Bai Wu Chang also stopped in her tracks. She turned around and looked indifferently at Wang Kai. Hearing the Ghost King's words, she gently shook her head and said indifferently, I'm not so nosy. Without the King of Hell's order, I won't easily hurt any cultivator. You don't have to worry. Let's hurry on. As soon as she finished speaking, Bai Wu Chang turned around and left. However, after taking 2 steps, she realized that Wang Kai still had no intention of moving. She couldn't help but turn around and look at Wang Kai in confusion. However, the current Wang Kai didn't have the time to care about them. He immediately urged his will and said, cultivate the great summoning skill. Congratulations to the host for successfully cultivating the superpower, great summoning skill. 300 bragging points have been consumed. Host, Wang Kai occupation, martial artist, symbol cultivator, array cultivator auxiliary occupation, alchemist realm, first stage Tao Saint Tao arts, art of bragging, alchemy codex, spirit codex superpower, fate deprivation skill, soul manipulation skill, heaven sealing skill, yellow spring sand sea skill, great summoning skill equipment, Tower of Babel, 9 dragon cauldron, death god brush, 10,000 formation seal diagram, ever-changing fan, icy flying sword bloodline, level 10 physique, 9, 5 supreme physique protector spirit beasts, Lan Qianqiu, heavenly venerable realm, Luo Ning, earthly venerable realm bragging points, 2, 830 experience, 30000200000 patter. Wang Kai casually glanced at it and urged his will to close it. Then, he suddenly opened his eyes and shouted with a face full of anticipation and surprise, summoning function, superpower, great summoning skill, Monkey King, come out. Host, your bragging points are not enough to summon the victorious fighting Buddha. 3,000 bragging points will be consumed. 3,000 bragging points. Summoning Sun Wukong required 3,000 bragging points. When Wang Kai heard the notification, the corners of his mouth twitched violently. His expression was slightly twisted as he said fiercely, then after the summoning is successful, can he always be by my side? Host, the summoning can only last for 2 hours. If you wish to summon him again, another 3,000 bragging points will be consumed. Fuck me. A single summoning can only last for 2 hours. If you wish to summon him again, another 3,000 bragging points will be consumed. Damn your grandmother. Why don't you just go and rob me? Are you trying to make me vomit blood? Wang Kai gritted his teeth and cursed. Host, it's all up to you. Nobody is forcing you. Shua. Hearing the notification, Wang Kai's expression froze. If it was in the past, the system would rarely talk back to him. But now, not only did it talk to him more often, it even rebutted him. Looks like it's influenced by this sect leader. Even though it's a system, it's become more humane. This sect leader is really powerful. Wang Kai's expression was extremely ugly as he gritted his teeth and laughed. Congratulations to host for successfully bragging. You've received 100,000 experience points and 100 bragging points. Heavens! Sect leader, have you gone mad? That's right. What are you talking about? The soul-devouring Ghost Emperor and the Ghost King's expressions changed abruptly as they looked at Wang Kai in shock. You really don't have to worry. This ghost servant will not act at will. Of course, if it was the order of the King of Hell, your soul would have been destroyed by now. Bai Wu Chang said indifferently as her cold eyes stared directly at Wang Kai. Hearing this, Wang Kai shook his head and sighed. His expression became incomparably melancholic. With a tap of his foot, he leaped and arrived in front of Bai Wuchang. He opened his arms and hugged her willowy waist. Feeling the soft and cold waist, Wang Kai's heart could not help but tremble. Sister Wu Chang, this sect leader is really scared. What should I do? Sister Wu Chang, is what you said just now true? Wang Kai raised his head and asked with a shy smile on his face. Such a scene had already stunned the soul-devouring Ghost Emperor and the Ghost King. Their bodies could not help but tremble as they swallowed their saliva. In their hearts they even had the thought of turning around and running away. Following by Wang Kai's side was simply too dangerous. Not only did he tease a ghost, he even dared to touch Bai Wu Chang. However, something that surprised the soul-devouring Ghost Emperor and the Ghost King happened again. Bai Wu Chang was not angry at all. She raised her slender hand and gently stroked Wang Kai's head. She said indifferently, "This ghost servant will truthfully report to the King of Hell about what you said just now. If he gives the order to capture your soul, this ghost servant will not hesitate to take action." Swoosh! As soon as these words came out, Wang Kai's body suddenly stiffened. The soul-devouring Ghost Emperor and the Ghost King were even more frightened. Chapter 450. I just wanted to get some wealth from the ghost servant. Now that my wish has come true, I will definitely be rich in the future. TSK, wealth at first sight, good, wonderful. Wang Kai quickly took a few steps back and waved the fan in his hand. He pretended to look at the official hat on Bai Wuchang's head with admiration. Congratulations to the host for successfully bragging. You have received 100,000 experience and 100 bragging points. Congratulations to the host for successfully breaking through to the second stage of Dao Saint Realm. Hearing this notification, Wang Kai couldn't help but secretly despise it. Wealth at first sight? Not only did he see it, but he also had intimate contact with Bai Wuchang. But in the end, didn't he still use the bragging notification to prove that wealth at first sight was useless? Although what he said just now was perfunctory, Wang Kai still had the intention of getting some wealth. But reality proved that the official hat was just for flattery and was useless. If it wasn't for Bai Wuchang informing the King of Hell, Wang Kai wouldn't have said such perfunctory words. However, Bai Wuchang's realm was hard to guess. It was definitely above the Dao God realm. Even if he could summon the master of the Celestial Master Mansion, Lan Qianqiu, to deal with her, it would attract more experts from the underworld. Did he really have to summon Sun Wukong? That was 3,000 bragging points. If he had any other choice, Wang Kai wouldn't waste it. Did you see the words on my official hat? Bai Wucheng's eyes narrowed as she asked in an indifferent tone. Hearing this, Wang Kai was stunned and couldn't help but look at her with some puzzlement. Could it be that the 4 words on the official's hat, wealth at a glance, was not something that anyone could see? However, when he saw the confused expressions on the faces of the soul-devouring Ghost Emperor and the Ghost King, Wang Kai immediately came to a realization. Haha, of course I can see it. This sect master was born with a pair of fiery eyes. I can see through all the falsehoods in the world at a glance. Such a trivial matter is not worth mentioning. Wang Kai shrugged his shoulders and smiled with an indifferent expression. Congratulations to the host for successfully bragging. You have received 100,000 experience and 100 bragging points. Hearing this, White Impermanence lightly shook his head and indifferently said, The handwriting on this ghost officer's hat is not fake, nor is it a formation. Seeing that you were able to see it, I will let you off this time. Let's hurry. As Bai Wucheng turned around and left, Wang Kai's eyes narrowed slightly as a sliver of silver light surfaced in his eyes. The corners of his mouth curled into a mischievous smile as he swept his gaze over Bai Wucheng's delicate body. Suddenly, a circle of death chi appeared and turned into a barrier, directly blocking the silver light of the Eye of Truth. White Impermanence turned around and stared coldly at Wang Kai. He said indifferently, You want your soul to scatter, don't you? The Eye of Truth had actually failed. In the face of an expert above the Tao God realm, it was simply impossible to see through it. Wang Kai immediately frowned. He originally wanted to admire the beautiful scenery, but now it seemed that he had most likely failed miserably. He calmly waved his hand and laughed softly. Impermanence, you misunderstood. I just wanted to test whether the handwriting on the official's hat was fake or not. Swoosh. Hearing this, White Impermanence's eyes flickered slightly. He lightly nodded and turned around, saying indifferently, The Eye of Truth must be used in the right place. If it is used in the wrong place, since you are dead, this ghost officer has the right to take it away. Do not do it again. He actually knew about the Eye of Truth. Wang Kai grinned when he heard this. It seemed that the immortal martial domain could not be compared to the 8 desolate. At least in the immortal martial domain, there was no one who could see through the Eye of Truth. Thinking of this, Wang Kai's expression suddenly froze. He could not help but murmur in his heart, Jingxian, are you well now? Back then, Jingxian was also able to see through the Eye of Truth. Sect Master is really amazing. You actually have the Eye of Truth. TSK, what a good treasure. The soul-devouring Ghost Emperor praised. His panda eyes were filled with envy. The Ghost King at the side also had the same expression. The Eye of Truth was not something that anyone could have in the 8 desolate. Those who had it were all famous figures. It's just the Eye of Truth. What is it? It's just a joke. You guys haven't seen the real powerful Torch Dragon's Eye yet. Wang Kai shrugged and smiled indifferently. Congratulations to the host for successfully bragging. You have received 100,000 experience points and 100 bragging points. Congratulations to the host for successfully breaking through to the 3rd grade Tao Saint realm. Torch Dragon's Eye. As soon as these words came out, the soul-devouring Ghost Emperor and the Ghost King were stunned. They looked at each other and felt puzzled. They had never heard of the Torch Dragon's Eye before. However, Bai Wucheng, who was walking in front, stopped in her tracks. Her cold eyes flickered, and she said indifferently, If you have the Torch Dragon's Eye, you can become the king of Soul Break Valley. Swoosh. Hearing this, Wang Kai was stunned. He looked at Bai Wucheng with surprise. He did not expect her to know about the Torch Dragon's Eye. Moreover, from what she said, it seemed that she wanted him to have it. Ahem, I'm just bragging. Don't mind it. Don't mind it. Wang Kai shrugged and waved his hand awkwardly. What a joke! The torch dragons I required 5,000 bragging points to obtain. Moreover, Wang Kai had no use for it now. Why should he spend 5,000 bragging points to obtain the torch dragon's eye? Sister Wu Chang, are these three little ghosts the candidates from the ghost territory to participate in the Ghost Eater Convention? Suddenly, a deep voice sounded, and two figures appeared in front of Bai Wuchang. The one in front was dressed in a long black robe. He was short and fat, but his face was extremely majestic. He glared angrily, giving off an evil and ruthless feeling. The middle-aged man's official hat had the words "World Peace" written on it. Seeing this official hat, Wang Kai narrowed his eyes. He naturally knew that the one who came was the Black Impermanence. Behind Black Impermanence, there was a young man in a similar black robe. When Wang Kai saw his face, his pupils shrank. Di-in! Wang Kai! Wang Kai and Di-in cried out in a deep voice. Their gazes were as cold as knives as they looked at each other. The young man behind Black Impermanence was the sect leader of the Supreme Tao sect in the Immortal Martial Domain, Di-in. No one expected him to become a ghost cultivator and come to the Eight Desolates. Are you old acquaintances? Black Impermanence asked in surprise. When Di-in heard this, his handsome face twisted. He laughed coldly and said, "Of course. If he didn't kill me back then, I wouldn't have come to the underworld to become a meditation cultivator. I wouldn't have become a ghost cultivator and come to the Eight Desolate." Hee Di-in, you little bastard. Looks like I didn't teach you a lesson back then. If I knew that you could cultivate the ghost Tao, I would have destroyed your spiritual soul. But it's fine. Since I can kill you once, I can kill you a second time. Wang Kai narrowed his eyes and smiled coldly. Chapter 451. The Black and White Impermanents were shocked when they saw Wang Kai and Di-in going at each other. They didn't expect them to come from the same place and to be mortal enemies. Wang Kai, do you dare to fight me? Di-in sneered. His handsome face was filled with absolute confidence. After being killed by Wang Kai in the Supreme Mountain, Di-in's soul moved to the Nether region to cultivate the Nether Tao. The seal in the Immortal Martial Domain was broken, so his cultivation speed increased. His soul was originally at the peak of the Immortal Emperor realm. After condensing his physical body through the Nether Tao, he successfully came to the Eight Desolaces in half a year. He even met the Black Impermanence in the Soul Death Valley. If it wasn't for the Black Impermanence's recognition, his soul would have been taken away by the Black Impermanence. Not only did he not die, he was even taken in as a disciple by the Black Impermanence. After 2 years of cultivation, Di-in directly broke through to the Tao Saint realm. Now that he saw Wang Kai, it could be said that he was enraged upon meeting his enemy. How could he let him go? Wang Kai's eyes narrowed. His expression was filled with mockery as he stared at Di-in. He then laughed in disdain. Di-in, you have truly disappointed this sect leader. To think that this sect leader hasn't cultivated for 3 years, from the Immortal Martial Realm to the Eastern Desolate region. Even so, this sect leader's cultivation base has already reached the Tao Saint realm. But you, how much effort did you put in? To barely be in the same realm as me? Congratulations to the host for successfully bragging. You have received 100,000 experience and 100 bragging points. Whoosh! These words immediately caused Di-in's expression to change. His pupils abruptly shrunk as he stared at Wang Kai in bewilderment. He was unwilling to believe Wang Kai's words. Not cultivating for 3 years? Also at the Tao Saint realm? Could Wang Kai be a monster? However, when he thought about Wang Kai's boastful personality, Di-in quickly understood. He sneered and said, Wang Kai, I didn't expect you to still be so good at boasting even after you've died and become a ghost cultivator. However, the soul-devouring Ghost Emperor and Ghost King were still in disbelief. Wang Kai was a ghost emperor, how could he be a ghost sage? Ahem, he is indeed bragging. The soul-devouring ghost emperor and the ghost king looked at each other with a knowing look on their faces, expressing their complete agreement with Di Yin's words. Haha, this is interesting. Since the two of you have old grudges, then let me be the judge. The two of you can fight. Black Impermanence laughed. White Impermanence's eyes flickered when she heard that. She gently shook her head and said indifferently, "The three of them are lone souls from the wild ghost domain who have come to participate in the Ghost Eater Convention. They are not allowed to fight before the convention ends. Haha, Sister Impermanence, you don't have to worry. I will save this brat called Wang Kai at the critical moment. Moreover, the 4 ghost cultivators for the Ghost Eater Convention have already been chosen. The final battle will have to wait until tomorrow. Let them fight first." Black Impermanence waved his hand and smiled nonchalantly. White Impermanence frowned when she heard that. She finally nodded and stepped back, ignoring him. Save this brat called Wang Kai at the critical moment? Wang Kai's eyes narrowed slightly. His expression was filled with mockery as he swept a glance at He Wuchang. He turned to look at Di Yin. With one hand behind his back and the other fanning himself, he said with a playful smile, "Come on, little bastard. Attack me as much as you can. After I destroy you, this sect master will destroy a ghost messenger to satisfy his craving. I will save him the trouble of showing off in front of me." Congratulations to the host for successfully boasting. You have received 100,000 experience points and 100 bragging points. Congratulations to the host for successfully breaking through to the 4th grade Divine Saint realm. Whoosh! Black Impermanence's face stiffened when he heard that. He then glared at Wang Kai with a cold and sinister gaze and laughed coldly. "Brat, you seem to have a lot of guts. Go to hell. If you spout any more nonsense, I will destroy you right now. You are just a mere ghost soldier. Why don't you go and steal my soul instead of carrying out your mission properly? What are you trying to show off in front of me?" Wang Kai's face darkened and he glared back at Black Impermanence with an unfriendly expression. His tone was merciless. "You're looking for whoosh." Black Impermanence was so angry that he raised his arm to attack. However, White Impermanence's figure flashed and stopped him. "Can you see the handwriting on his official hat? If you can see it, you will be pardoned. If you can't see it, your soul will be destroyed. Black Impermanence is different from me. He doesn't need to accept orders from the King of Hell to punish the dead." White Impermanence said coldly. Black Impermanence was stunned when he heard that. He couldn't help but stare at Wang Kai. Since White Impermanence had said that, it meant that this ghost must have seen the handwriting on White Impermanence's official hat. Otherwise, why would White Impermanence save an unrelated ghost so easily? When Di Yin saw that, he looked at Wang Kai in shock. If he could really see the handwriting on Black Impermanence's official hat, it would be impossible to kill him this time. "I can see it. This sect master's divine might is unparalleled, and my eyes are all-seeing. Nothing can escape this sect master's eyes." Wang Kai shrugged and smiled with a rather indifferent expression. Congratulations to the host for successfully boasting. You have received 100,000 experience points and 100 bragging points. He could see it indeed. Once these words were spoken, Di Yin immediately frowned deeply upon hearing them. His already pale fists were clenched even tighter, causing cracking sounds to be heard. "What word?" Black Impermanence asked angrily. "There are 4 big words on that official hat." Black Impermanence became even angrier when he heard Wang Kai's deliberate way of speaking. However, he had no choice but to suppress his anger and ask again, "Which 4 big words? Idiot!" Wang Kai shrugged and sneered with disdain. Swoosh! As soon as he finished speaking, everyone present was stunned. They all looked at Wang Kai in astonishment. Even the ice beauty White Impermanence was stunned. She never expected Wang Kai to say those 4 big words. Sect leader, are you looking for trouble? Oh my God, sect leader, what are you doing? The bodies of the soul-devouring Ghost Emperor and the Ghost King stiffened as they stared at Wang Kai in shock. Hee, the evils we bring upon ourselves are the hardest to bear. Diyin laughed coldly. He turned to look at the extremely furious He Wuchang. He immediately cupped his hands together and said respectfully, Master, leave him to me. Destroy his soul. Black Impermanence said coldly, Yes, Master. Diyin immediately acknowledged the order respectfully. The death penalty is unavoidable. White Impermanence came back to her senses and glanced coldly at Wang Kai. She then turned around and retreated to the side. Leave it to you? What can you do? Are you trying to be arrogant again? Come on, let me see if the bones and tendons of your reconstructed ghost cultivator body are tough. Wang Kai sneered with disdain. Swoosh. As his words faded, Wang Kai's figure suddenly flashed and appeared in front of Diyin in an instant. He lifted his folding fan and casually slapped it down on Diyin's head. The pressure that belonged to a Dao Saint Realm expert was also released, causing Diyin's expression to change drastically. Your realm. Chapter 452. I'm 2 grades higher than you, you piece of trash. Bang. Plop. Diyin's head was immediately smashed into the ground. The powerful strength of the slap had caused half of his body to be embedded into the ground. It was as if he had been knocked upside down. A piece of trash like you dares to come out and act tough? Wouldn't it be better if you were hiding? Of all people, why did you have to meet me? Wang Kai's expression was filled with mockery as he laughed coldly. He waved his folding fan and swept it at Diyin's left leg. Bang! Crack! Ah! Woo-woo! A clear bone cracking sound exploded. Diyin's left leg had been swept down by a folding fan. The intense pain caused Diyin to let out a muffled cry of pain. However, because his head was firmly embedded into the ground, the cry he let out was extremely unclear. This is the will of the heavens. A piece of trash like you who isn't even worth a fart dares to act so pretentious. Even the heavens can't stand it. That's why they sent you to me so that I can grant you eternal slumber. Wang Kai shrugged his shoulders and smiled indifferently. He waved his folding fan and swept it at Diyin's right leg again. Congratulations to the host for successfully bragging. You have received 100,000 experience and 100 bragging points. Congratulations to the host for successfully breaking through to the 5th grade Dao Saint Realm. Bang! Crack! Diyin's right leg was bent and hung down. The unbearable pain caused Diyin's body to twitch violently. His muffled cries of pain gradually weakened. A piece of trash like you dares to say that you want to take my life? That's right. When you became Di Xian's disciple, you learned how to be a hypocrite. Now that you have followed a tiger and an idiot, what you learned is just SOSO. Wang Kai raised his eyebrows slightly and smiled playfully. He suddenly flipped his hand and pulled Diyin out from the ground. Bang! You! Cough cough! Diyin's face was ashen as cold sweat dripped down his forehead. He had never imagined that Wang Kai would be so powerful. After more than 2 years, Wang Kai's talent should be above his. But now it was even lower than his. Especially when he saw He Wuchang's gloomy and ugly expression, Diyin felt even more humiliated and furious. He had just made a bold statement, but before he could even make a move, he had already lost. This scene caused the soul-devouring Ghost Emperor and the Ghost King to be greatly shocked. However, their expressions quickly became interesting. He had originally thought that Wang Kai was only a Ghost Emperor, but now, he had reached the Ghost Saint, and was even above Diyin's 2nd stage Ghost Saint. If he added the power of his bloodline, he could completely deal with a Dao God stage ranker. The outcome of this year's Ghoul Feast was still unknown. This matter ends here. Black Impermanence said coldly. Stop here? Wang Kai raised his eyebrows when he heard this. He looked at He Wuchang with disdain and said with a mocking smile, "Do you think I'm making fun of you? Do you think it's going to start and end just because you say so?" Crash! Suddenly, He Wuchang flipped his hand and handcuffs appeared. They circled around his body and moved continuously. Waves of strong death chi lingered in the air. "I can spare your life. This is the greatest mercy I can give you. Don't be ungrateful. Get lost," He Wuchang said coldly. Swoosh! When Wang Kai heard this, he frowned and stared coldly at He Wuchang. Suddenly, he sneered and said, "Looks like I'm going to start a massacre today." Bang! Crack! Suddenly, Wang Kai flipped his hand and slashed down with the folding fan. Di Yin's body exploded, and even his spiritual soul was destroyed. Congratulations to the host for successfully killing a second stage Dao Saint. You have received 100,000 experience points. When he heard the notification, Wang Kai narrowed his eyes and waved his folding fan. He looked at He Wuchang and said with a mocking smile, "His value is too low. It's not enough to make me happy. I hope your cultivation level is higher." "How dare you? How dare you? You're courting death. Soul reaping. Buzz." Walala, He Wuchang was enraged. He immediately threw the handcuffs at Wang Kai. The terrifying death chi caused Wang Kai's body to stiffen and he could not move at all. Summoning function, superpower, grand summoning skill, Sun Wukong. Congratulations to the host for successfully using the summoning function. 3,000 bragging points have been consumed. Buzz. As a golden circle of light appeared in front of Wang Kai, a figure with a slightly bent body and a long staff in his hand appeared. I, old son, am here." Ding! Crack! Puff! The handcuffs and shackles were destroyed and the fragments bounced back, causing He Wuchang to vomit blood and be sent flying. "Who is it?" This scene shocked by Wuchang until his eyes flashed. He flipped his delicate hand and took out a pair of handcuffs. His expression was icy cold as he took precautions. Looking at the soul-devouring Ghost Emperor and the Ghost King, they were so scared that they stood rooted to the ground. They thought that Wang Kai was doomed to die, but they didn't expect that the black impermanence would be inexplicably sent flying by his own handcuffs. "Where is this place?" "So it's the two black and white little ghosts under the King of Hell. The two of you stole my soul. Why are you looking for me today?" Swoosh! A monkey wearing a golden Buddhist robe and a Buddhist hat appeared. He had a hairy face and a thunderous mouth. His eyes were shining with golden light. He bent down slightly and held the Jingu Bang. He raised his hand and pointed at Bai Wuchang with a mocking smile. "It's really Brother Monkey! It's really Brother Monkey!" Wang Kai waved his folding fan and circled around Sun Wukong to size him up. Surprisingly, Sun Wukong was also circling around Wang Kai to size him up. He blinked his fiery golden eyes, and rays of golden light shot out. "He, a mere brat dares to have designs on me, old son. Eat my Jingu Bang." Suddenly, under Wang Kai's astonished gaze, Sun Wukong waved his Jingu Bang and smashed it toward him. "CKU, Brother Monkey, you can't play like this. I'm the one who summoned you." Wang Kai looked very anxious. Halfway through his shout, he saw that Sun Wukong's stick had actually stopped in midair. Looking at Sun Wukong's face, he was actually grimacing in anger. Sun Wukong kept yelling as if he was using all his strength to swing the gang down. However, it still stopped above Wang Kai's head and could not hit him. "Bastard! Where did this monkey come from? How dare he attack me? Sister Wuchang, let's join hands and take down this demon cultivator." Whoosh! Black Impermanence's body was in tatters and his face was pale. He waved his hand and recalled the shackles. After a burst of black death chi, he recovered his complete form. Old King of Hell, How dare you? I didn't look for you to settle the old scores, but you came looking for me first. I'll kill your little ghosts first and then look for you. Whoosh! Sun Wukong roared. Seeing that he could not do anything to Wang Kai, he waved his Jingu Bang and turned around to smash Black Impermanence. Chapter 453. Be***starred monkey. Bang! Buzz! Suddenly, before He Wuchang had time to resist, his body was smashed apart by Sun Wukong's staff, and his spirit dissipated along with it. With one strike, his divine soul was destroyed. Seeing this scene, the soul-devouring Ghost Emperor and the Ghost King were so frightened that they fell to the ground. Their bodies trembled as they looked at Sun Wukong. They couldn't believe that a little monstrous monkey cultivator could be so powerful. White Impermanence's beautiful eyes widened. She had already lost the will to fight. She immediately put away the handcuffs and chains, turned into a death aura, and escaped without hesitation. Hee, where are you going? Eat me, old son. Eat your uncle, stop. Buzz. Wang Kai waved his hand and shouted. Sun Wukong, who was about to chase after Black Impermanence, stopped in his tracks and his body stiffened. Hee, which deity are you? It's fine that you turned into a little ghost, but how dare you order me, old son? Don't you know that I, old son, am the great sage who wreaked havoc in the heavenly palace? Sun Wukong bared his teeth and shouted. He wanted to kill Wang Kai with one strike, but he could not move at all. Wang Kai's face darkened when he heard this. He thought that he would be able to get a huge reward of experience points, but he did not expect that after Black Impermanence's divine soul was destroyed, he did not get anything. It was the same as the path of destiny. This sect master has never changed his name nor his surname. I am the sect master of the heavenly sect, Wang Kai. So what if you wreaked havoc in the heavenly palace? This cult master has once shattered the firmament, and even Tathagata was defeated by this cult master. Which of the celestial beings in the heavens is not respectful to this cult master? Wang Kai snorted with displeasure. He could not get over the fact that he did not get any experience points. Congratulations to the host for successfully bragging. You have received 100,000 experience points and 100 bragging points. Congratulations to the host for successfully breaking through to the 6th grade Divine Saint realm. Whoosh! As soon as these words came out, Sun Wukong rolled his eyes and put on a smiling face. He chuckled and said, Oh, so it's the sect master of the Discord sect, Wang Kai. I've heard a lot about you, I've heard a lot about you, I've heard a lot about you. Let me go quickly. Upon hearing this, the corners of Wang Kai's mouth twitched slightly. How could he not know what Sun Wukong was planning? For a shrewd monkey like the great sage, who changed his attitude faster than flipping a book, the moment he let him go, he would definitely be hit with a stick. Can you tell that I'm a ghost cultivator in disguise? Wang Kai shrugged and asked with an indifferent expression. Sun Wukong's eyes darted around as he chuckled. That's right. I, old son, have discerning eyes. I can see through any falsehood. Your Tao of transformation is still far from old son's. Hearing that proud laughter, Wang Kai understood what kind of person Sun Wukong was. It wouldn't be an exaggeration to say that he was arrogant. Sun Wukong, listen to me. Sun Wukong, listen carefully. This place is not the world you are in. You can appear here only because I summoned you. So, any action you take will be under my control. Well, it's tens of thousands of times more awesome than the band-tightening spell that Guanyin Bodhisattva gave to Tang Sanzang. If you don't want to be defeated, you'd better behave. Wang Kai twisted his eyebrows and smiled. As soon as he heard this, Sun Wukong was shocked. He rolled his eyes and chuckled. Oh? What do you want me to do? Hurry up and tell me. I still have to return to Mount Huagua. Return to Mount Huagua? Wang Kai raised his eyebrows when he heard this. He narrowed his eyes and said with a playful smile, "You want to go back? Without this sect master's permission, it's impossible. I can even trap you for tens of thousands of years." Congratulations to the host for successfully bragging. You've received 100,000 experience and 100 bragging points. He. Sun Wukong was so angry that he grimaced. Golden light flashed in his eyes and 2 rays of golden light pierced through Wang Kai. F***CKU. I forgot that there was such a move. Wang Kai was shocked when he saw this. He quickly rolled to the side and looked at the 2 bottomless holes in the ground. Cold sweat broke out on his forehead. Don't use any means to attack. Seeing that Sun Wukong was about to use his golden gaze fiery eyes, Wang Kai quickly shouted. Swoosh. He. Sun Wukong's eyes suddenly closed. He wanted to open them, but he had no strength to resist. He could only grit his teeth and scream. He looked as if his lungs were about to explode from anger. Send him back quickly, Wang Kai shouted with a black face. Buzz. Suddenly, under the urging of Wang Kai's will, a circle of golden array platform appeared beneath Sun Wukong's feet. As bursts of light flickered, Sun Wukong's figure vanished. F***CK. What a bullsh** T summoning skill. It doesn't listen to my orders and I have to control it at all times. How am I going to fight the enemy? It's not even as obedient as Lan Qianqiu. Wang Kai was so angry that his face darkened. Not only did he spend 3,000 bragging points, but he also did not get any experience points from killing the Black Impermanent. What was even more infuriating was that he was almost killed by Sun Wukong. Host, if you spend 10,000 bragging points to upgrade the summoning skill, the target of the summoning will listen to your orders. 10,000 bragging points. Hearing the notification, Wang Kai's mouth twitched and his face turned green. If he wanted to upgrade the summoning skill again, he would have to brag 100 times more. Haha, with this bragging god's ability, bragging 100 times is just a trivial matter. As long as this bragging god wants it, it can be done in the blink of an eye. Wang Kai gritted his teeth and snorted with displeasure. Congratulations to the host for successfully bragging. You have received 100,000 experience points and 100 bragging points. Congratulations to the host for successfully breaking through to the 7th grade Dao Saint realm. Sect leader, where are we going now? Are we still going to participate in the Ghost Eater convention? The Ghost King swallowed his saliva and asked respectfully. The soul-devouring Ghost Emperor also looked obedient. He was still unable to calm down after Wang Kai summoned the demon monkey cultivator. He killed the Black Impermanence with a single blow. He even dared to challenge the King of Hell. Judging from the demon monkey cultivator's tone, the King of Hell seemed to be afraid of him. Of course we're going to participate. Why wouldn't we? Wang Kai frowned and snorted. The loss this time was indeed great. If he could not step into the Ghost Sovereign Cemetery, he would definitely vomit blood from anger. But sect leader, you just killed the Black Impermanence Ghost Servant and the White Impermanence Ghost Servant has already escaped. I'm afraid the Netherworld will not ignore this. If sect leader can summon that demon monkey cultivator, the soul-devouring Ghost Emperor said carefully. Summon? Summon the heavens? Wang Kai was furious when he heard this. His face darkened as he thought viciously, wait until this sect master accumulates bragging points to 10,000. At that time, I will teach you a lesson. Chapter 454. So what if the underworld is alarmed? With my abilities, isn't it just a matter of a flick of my finger? Wang Kai shrugged and smiled calmly. Congratulations to the host for successfully bragging. You have received 100,000 experience points and 100 bragging points. A matter of a flick of my finger? The soul-devouring ghost emperor was speechless. If it was so easy, why bother participating in the Ghost Eater convention? Wouldn't it be better to just enter the Ghost Venerable Cemetery? However, he only dared to think about it secretly. He did not have the guts to say it out loud. He immediately cupped his fist and said respectfully, "Sect leader, you may not know this, but the black and white impermanence ghosts came to the ghost graveyard with the responsibility of leading and judging. Now that the black and white impermanence ghosts have been destroyed and the white impermanence escaped, I'm afraid the Ghost Eater convention can't be held. Even if it were to be held, there won't be any ghosts to lead us into the Ghost Venerable Cemetery." Leading the way, judging. Wang Kai raised his eyebrows slightly when he heard this. He thought to himself, this is really troublesome. If a lone soul enters the ghost graveyard from the ghost domain and is separated by a seal barrier, then how does the ghost graveyard enter the Ghost Venerable Cemetery from the ghost graveyard? It's probably not that simple. Even if the system could break any restriction array or seal, it would require a lot of bragging points. Now that he had summoned Sun Wukong, he had to pay 3,000 bragging points. For the sake of his safety, unless he had no other choice, he couldn't afford to waste bragging points. Thinking of this, Wang Kai frowned. The only way to solve the problem of entering the Ghost Venerable Cemetery was to find White Impermanence. However, White Impermanence's realm was above the Tao God realm. If he wanted to find her, he could not do it with his own realm. Is the only way to calculate the heavenly secrets? Let's cultivate the heavenly secrets superpower astronomical tracking technique. Congratulations to the host for successfully cultivating the superpower astronomical tracking technique. 300 bragging points have been consumed. Using the heavenly secrets superpower and the way of heavenly secrets to calculate the heavenly secrets, I only need to consume 100 years of my lifespan each time. Damn it, Sun Wukong, just you wait. I'll make you suffer sooner or later. Wang Kai narrowed his eyes and thought viciously. Heavenly Secrets Divinatory Platform, Heavenly Secrets Tracking Technique. 1. Suddenly, an octagonal silver divinatory platform appeared under Wang Kai's feet. Above it were 8 silver characters: Qian, Kun, Zhen, Sun, Kan, Li, Zhen, and Dui. Within the inner circle of the 8 trigrams were the east, west, south, north, southeast, northeast, southwest, and northwest directions. In the center there were north, south, east, and west. Heaven and earth happened to be under Wang Kai's feet. Investigate the whereabouts of the White Impermanence, Emissary of Hell, and Emissary of Hell in Death Valley. 1. With Wang Kai's thought, the octagonal platform flashed with silver light, and the various positions on it began to rotate. In the end, they discovered that the location Qian was pointing at was in the southeast direction. Swoosh. In the end, the 2 words southeast turned into 2 streams of light that floated in the air. They slowly turned into a silver-white light that shone in the southeast direction. Congratulations to the host for successfully divining the secrets of the heavens. 100 years of lifespan has been consumed. Host, the secrets of the heavens revealed by this heavenly secrets superpower can be maintained for 2 hours. Other than the user, no other experts can see through it. After hearing the notification, Wang Kai squinted his eyes and looked in the direction of the silver light that shone down from the sky. He discovered that White Impermanence was staring at him coldly from 300 miles away. Heavenly Secrets Tao. Sect Master has also cultivated the Heavenly Secrets Tao. The Ghost King exclaimed. He found Wang Kai's means unbelievable. As a ghost cultivator, he could only cultivate the Ghost Tao. Unlike other living creatures, he could not cultivate multiple Tao skills at the same time. However, Wang Kai not only cultivated the Ghost Tao, but also the Heavenly Secrets Tao. He could even use the battle chi of martial arts. Although the soul-devouring Ghost Emperor was also shocked when he saw this, he recovered extremely quickly. From the words of the demon monkey cultivator who had just summoned, he could tell that Wang Kai was not a ghost cultivator at all, but a ghost cultivator in disguise. Sect Master, have you divined the whereabouts of White Impermanence? The soul-devouring ghost emperor asked respectfully. He was about 1 meter tall. When he cupped his fists, the braids at the back of his head swayed. Together with his panda eyes, he looked rather comical. Wang Kai nodded slightly. It seemed that they could not see the silver light that shone down from the sky. They could only see the heavenly secrets divinatory stage that he had just displayed. This proved that White Impermanence was also unaware. Let's go. Wang Kai squinted his eyes and smiled. He immediately stepped into the air, and went straight to where White Impermanence was. When the soul-devouring Ghost Emperor and the Ghost King saw this, they looked at each other and quickly followed behind. For Wang Kai and his group, the distance of 300 miles was covered in the blink of an eye. White Impermanence naturally noticed that Wang Kai was running toward her. However, she did not leave. Instead, she stood quietly on a tombstone and looked coldly at Wang Kai, who was descending from the sky. Buzz! When Wang Kai arrived at White Impermanence's place, the silver light that shone on White Impermanence disappeared. White Impermanence did not feel anything strange about this. She did not notice it at all. Who are you? What is your purpose in sneaking into Soul Break Valley? White Impermanence said indifferently. With a wave of her slender hand, handcuffs and shackles appeared with a clatter. The way of heavenly secrets that Wang Kai had just displayed had already made White Impermanence suspicious of him. However, with the way of heavenly secrets, White Impermanence admitted that she could not escape. If Wang Kai summoned the demon monkey again, he would definitely end up like Black Impermanence. Hee, Sister Impermanence, you are very smart. This sect master is indeed not a ghost cultivator in Soul Break Valley. My purpose in coming to Soul Break Valley is very simple. I want to find old brother King Yama and play chess. I want to find Supreme Heavenly Ghost to talk about old times and compare notes on martial arts. Then, I want to find a few beautiful female ghosts to be lovey-dovey with. TSK, how delightful. Wang Kai shrugged and smiled indifferently. Congratulations to the host for successfully bragging. You have received 100,000 experience and 100 bragging points. Congratulations to the host for successfully breaking through to the 8th grade Tao Saint realm. Hearing this, White Impermanence's eyes grew colder. She naturally knew that Wang Kai was talking nonsense. If he could really catch up with King Yama and Supreme Heavenly Ghost, why would he need to participate in the Ghost Eater Convention? Why would he appear in the Ghost Realm? You want me to bring you into the Ghost Venerable Cemetery? I am sorry, even if my soul is scattered, I cannot disobey King Yama's orders. If you want to enter the Ghost Venerable Cemetery, you must win the Ghost Eater Convention, White Impermanence said indifferently. Clap clap. Wang Kai raised his eyebrows and immediately clapped his hands. He praised, Sister Impermanence, you are not afraid of death and do your job well. This sect master admires you. However, you can rest assured that with this sect master's power, not to mention a mere Ghost Eater convention held in the Ghost Graveyard, even overturning the strongest Ghost Venerable Cemetery would be a piece of cake. Congratulations to the host for successfully bragging. You have received 100,000 experience and 100 bragging points. Please support the original reading. Make sure to read it on QQ, Genesis Chinese Network. Thank you for the tip from Forever Laughing Flourishing Piaohong, QQ Group 3260775524. Chapter 455. If you have the ability, I can bring you into the Ghost Venerable Cemetery. However, in the Ghost Eater Convention, external forces are not allowed. Do you understand? White Impermanence said indifferently. The power of the monkey demon cultivator that Wang Kai had summoned was too terrifying. Even the king of hell did not have such terrifying strength. If he rejected Wang Kai now and caused the monkey demon to appear again, the Ghost Eater convention would definitely end. He would also be destroyed like Black Impermanence. The only thing he could do now was to compromise with Wang Kai. Moreover, in White Impermanence's opinion, as long as Wang Kai did not summon the monkey demon cultivator, it would be difficult for him to stand out in the Ghost Eater convention with his mere cultivation of the Ghost Sage stage. During this period, he could even delay Wang Kai, communicate with the underworld, and report this matter to the King of Hell. Hearing White Impermanence's words, Wang Kai's face darkened. "Do you think I want to summon Sun Wukong? If I summon him again, not to mention whether the Valley of Death would be peaceful, I would definitely be in for a bad time." With Wang Kai's unyielding character and Sun Wukong's fearless character, it would only be a contest of strength. It was impossible to use other methods to make them submit. Hee, Sister Wuchang, you don't have to worry. Just now, this sect master has already said that with the power of this sect master, there is no ghost cultivator in the Death Valley who can stand shoulder to shoulder with this sect master. And, as for the monkey that was summoned before, he is just a student under this sect master. Wang Kai shrugged and smiled indifferently. Congratulations to the host for successfully bragging. You've received 100,000 experience and 100 bragging points. Congratulations to the host for successfully breaking through to the 9th grade Dao Saint stage. Hearing the notification, Wang Kai's confidence swelled. Reaching the 9th grade Dao Saint stage, with the power of his bloodline, he could become invincible in the ghost graveyard. Of course, a ghost servant like White Impermanence was not included in the calculation. If that's the case, then let's go. I hope you will abide by the rules of the Ghost Eater Convention, Bai Wuchang said coldly. As soon as his voice faded, he moved his feet and shuttled through the tomb forest that was surrounded by dark death aura. Wang Kai rubbed his nose when he saw this. It was fine to abide by the rules, but the prerequisite was that one did not suffer losses. If one knew that one would suffer losses and still abide by the rules, who would do such an idiotic thing? In the depths of Ghost Grave Forest, Ghost God Graveyard. When Wang Kai and the rest arrived at their destination with the White Impermanence, they were greeted by the sight of densely packed tombstones and graves. Each grave was as big as a house, and the tombstones in front of them were even taller than the graves. Waves of extremely strong death chi permeated the air, causing the originally dark ghost grave forest to become increasingly difficult to see clearly with the naked eye. If it weren't for the fact that Wang Kai cultivated the Tao of ghouls and transformed into a ghost cultivator, he probably wouldn't have been able to see anything here with his eyes. In this place, there was no sunlight penetrating through, and it was not darkness either. Instead, it was the death aura that blocked one's line of sight. Eastern Wasteland, White Net Region, Region Lord, Nine Gods Kong Tomb. Eastern Wasteland, Black Xian Region, Region Lord, Li Qiutian's Tomb. Eastern Wasteland, Ziwu Region, Heavenly Fan Sect, Grand Elder, Gu Lai's Tomb. The tombstones that were taller than houses were engraved with the names of the various major forces and even the region lords of the various regions in Eastern Wasteland. A graveyard for ghost cultivators in the ghost god realm? What's so great about it? Isn't it just much bigger than the graves outside? If you want to show off, why don't you just build a house and a palace? Is there a need to build such a big grave? Wang Kai snorted with disdain. Swoosh. As soon as he said that, the soul-devouring ghost emperor and the ghost king looked at each other speechlessly. If they were still alive, they naturally wouldn't choose to build a grave as a house. Sect Master, you may not know this, but as the dead, we have the dead's rules. The living pursue glory, wealth, and fame, and the dead can't avoid it either. It's just that the things we pursue are different, the soul-devouring ghost emperor said. The ghost king shook his head and sighed. If I can have such a big grave, my status will definitely rise. Bang! Bang! The corner of Wang Kai's mouth twitched when he heard that. He immediately flipped his hand and slapped the soul-devouring Ghost Emperor and the Ghost King until they fell to the ground. He looked at them with an unfriendly gaze and snorted. As a member of the Sky-Defying sect, if you want to have a grave, you should choose the Grave Palace in the Ghost Venerate Cemetery. It's just a grave. You guys are jealous of it. It's really a disgrace. These words caused the soul-devouring Ghost Emperor and the Ghost King's eyes to sparkle. However, they quickly turned into lonely sighs. With Wang Kai's ability, it was unknown whether he could be revered in the Ghost Graveyard. How could he obtain the same treatment as the Grave Palace in the Ghost Venerate Cemetery? You don't even know how to show off. What's the point of learning from this group of unpresentable brats? It's just a grave. No matter how big it is, isn't it still a grave? It's better to dig a hole and lie down. At least, you can act more cool and awesome. It's simply too uncool. Wang Kai said with a disdainful smile. Swoosh. Patter. 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 In an instant, the tombs that were the size of houses split open from the center. Many huge black coffins were emitting rhythmic sounds. However, after a long while, the coffin lids did not completely open. In the end, they were only half open. Such a scene immediately caused Wang Kai's face to darken. He immediately flipped his hand and slapped out. He sternly scolded, "You still dare to show off in front of this sect leader? Who asked you to show off?" Rumble! Rumble! Bang bang bang! The lids of the coffins were all lifted up by Wang Kai's palm. There were many ghost cultivators lying quietly in the coffins. When the lids of the coffins were completely opened, their eyes suddenly opened. Rays of eerie blood light penetrated the coffins. Coupled with the chilly wind and deathly aura that surrounded them, it was truly a horrifying sight. You still want to show off? All of you are at the ghost celestial stage. Is it that difficult to open a coffin lid? Also, this sect leader has already opened the coffin lids for all of you. Why are you still not coming out after such a long time? Are you trying to scare this sect leader? *CK your grandpa. Wang Kai's gaze was rather unfriendly as he coldly snorted. Immediately, his figure flashed, and he appeared on top of a ghost celestial stage expert lying in the coffin. He looked down at the ghost celestial stage expert lying in the coffin and stomped his foot down. "Since you don't want to come out, then stay in there and sleep forever." Bang! Patter! In an instant, under Wang Kai's foot, the ghost celestial stage expert in the coffin exploded. A deathly aura condensed into a spirit, and it wailed incessantly. "If you dare to show off again, I'll destroy your spirit as well. Hurry up and come out." Wang Kai looked at the spirit with disdain. He flipped his hand and slapped it, sending it flying thousands of meters away. "Heavens, sect leader, what are you trying to do? You can't cause trouble like this. You'll lose your life." The soul-devouring Ghost Emperor and the Ghost King were shocked when they saw this. They fell to the ground with bitter faces. At this point, they really understood. They absolutely could not show off in front of Wang Kai. If they failed to show off, they would definitely end up in a miserable state. "Sect leader, don't you know that once a ghost cultivator hibernates, it takes time to wake up?" The soul-devouring Ghost Emperor and the Ghost King sighed repeatedly with their hands on their foreheads. Chapter 456. Ghost cultivators needed time to wake up from their deep slumber? Wang Kai raised his eyebrows. If that was the case, wouldn't it be easy for them to be wiped out? However, he pretended to be calm and said, "Haha, I'm well aware of this. I just saw that they were taking too long to wake up, so I decided to lend them a hand." Congratulations to the host for successfully bragging. You've received 100,000 experience and 100 bragging points. However, the soul-devouring Ghost Emperor and the Ghost King chose to ignore his words. How could they have wanted to help when they were so serious just now? If those ghost gods didn't wake up soon, they would have been wiped out. Sect leader, you may not know this, but just as White Impermanence said, they must have swallowed a lot of ghost cultivators to survive after going through so many battles at the Ghost Eater Convention. Naturally, they would need to sleep to refine the ghost cultivation they had swallowed. Moreover, when the Ghost Eater Convention begins tomorrow, they will wake up, the soul-devouring Ghost Emperor said. The Ghost King nodded gently and said in agreement, "That's right." Other than refining the ghost cultivation of the ghost cultivators that they had swallowed, under normal circumstances, ghost cultivators would never sleep to rest. Even if they did sleep, they would choose to wake up. After a certain period of time, they would instantly wake up. Since you've angered them, think of a way to deal with them yourself, White Impermanence said indifferently. Swoosh. As soon as she said this, many ghost cultivators floated out of the coffins and stepped on the tombstones. They stared coldly at Wang Kai. Where did this brat come from? How dare you sneak attack me while I'm sleeping? Roar, roar. With a piercing roar, the ghost cultivator whose body had been shattered by Wang Kai quickly floated back. His body, which should have been shattered, was now completely restored. A ghost cultivator who has reached the ghost god realm has a physique comparable to a divine body? How did you recover so quickly? Wang Kai raised his eyebrows slightly and asked curiously. The soul-devouring Ghost Emperor wiped the cold sweat off his forehead. His body tensed up when he saw the cold gazes of the ghost celestials. He quickly went forward and reminded in a low voice, "Sect Master, once you reach the ghost celestial realm, as long as your spirit is not destroyed, you can instantly form a physical body. It is not a divine body. Only in terms of recovery ability, it is comparable to a divine body." His recovery ability was comparable to a divine body. F***ck, if that's the case, it's more advantageous to become a ghost cultivator. No matter how trashy a cultivator is, once he cultivates to the ghost god realm, he can have a recovery power comparable to the divine body. If he leaves the Soul Break Valley, wouldn't it make countless divine bodies jealous? Wang Kai shrugged and smiled with an indifferent expression. Cough, cough. If you don't reach the Venerable Realm, you won't be able to leave the Soulbreak Valley. Any bit of sunlight will cause a ghost cultivator's soul to scatter. The Ghost King said in a low voice. Wang Kai rubbed his nose playfully when he heard this. He could not help but shake his head and sigh secretly. No matter how strong they were still just ghosts if they were afraid of sunlight. B****starred. This ghost celestial is asking you a question. Are you deaf? The ghost celestial was furious. Not only had his physical body been shattered, but he had also been ignored. The other ghost cultivators also frowned deeply at this moment. They saw that Wang Kai could be so calm in front of them and the other ghost celestials. He had also come with the White Impermanence ghost messenger. Could it be that he was very strong? Since you are all awake, let's start the competition. This sect master does not have time to wait until tomorrow. Which 4 little ghosts have won the spots to enter the final battle of the Ghost Feast? Stand up and let this sect master give you a punch or two, Wang Kai shrugged and said with a casual smile. Swoosh. As soon as he said this, the pupils of the ghost cultivators shrank. They all looked at the White Impermanence ghost messenger. When they saw her nod, their faces darkened. B****starred, how dare you ignore? Why do you have so much to say? Bang! Crack! Suddenly, before the ghost celestial could finish speaking, Wang Kai flipped his hand and smashed his body into pieces. Even his spiritual soul was destroyed. Congratulations to the host for successfully killing a peak grade 8 ghost celestial. You have received 800,000 experience points. Congratulations to the host for successfully breaking through to grade 4 Dao God Realm. Swoosh. This scene caused the faces of the ghost cultivators to change drastically. They stared at Wang Kai in horror. They had not expected Wang Kai to be so strong. He had killed a peak grade 8 ghost celestial with one move. You can use the power of your bloodline. Who are you? Are you a ghost celestial? Nonsense. He is only a grade 9 ghost celestial. No, his aura is grade 4 ghost celestial? He was just a grade 9 ghost celestial. How did he become a grade 4 ghost celestial? If he is not a ghost celestial, how can he use the power of his bloodline? Countless question marks appeared in the minds of the ghost cultivators. In the end, they could not figure out the reason. They could only suppress their fear and shock. However, the most shocked of all was White Impermanence. He had thought that he could use the ghost feast to buy some time and send a message to the underworld. But now, how could he buy time? Sect leader is so awesome. Sect leader is so cool. The soul-devouring Ghost Emperor and the Ghost King were the first to come to their senses. They immediately praised Wang Kai loudly. They were pleasantly surprised by his strength. At first, they thought that they would definitely die. But now, it seemed that dominating the ghost graveyard would not be a problem. Which 4 little ghosts have successfully qualified for the final battle? Come out quickly. I don't have time to be pretentious with you. Wang Kai shrugged and said impatiently. The ghost cultivators twitched their lip. Who wants to be pretentious with you? Moreover, with his cultivation of grade 4 ghost celestial and the power of his bloodline, he could definitely fight a grade 4 ghost celestial. Which ghost cultivator in the ghost graveyard could be his match? I admit defeat. I admit defeat too. Admit, then, among the ghost cultivators 4 young men stepped out. As soon as they appeared, they hurriedly cupped their fists and admitted defeat to Wang Kai. They had no intention of fighting with him. Well, then I will be ranked first for the time being. Next, suppress your cultivation level and fight with the 2 of them. Your cultivation level must be at the same level, Wang Kai said with a mocking smile. He raised his arm and pointed at the soul-devouring Ghost Emperor and the Ghost King. Hearing this, the soul-devouring Ghost Emperor and the Ghost King quivered. Although the blood in their bodies had stopped flowing, they still felt their blood boiling at this moment. Wang Kai was giving them a chance to devour the 4 ghost celestials. If they succeeded, it would be extremely easy for them to break through their current cultivation level. Soul-devouring Ghost Emperor, Grade 9 Ghost Sage. White Bone Ghost King, Grade 9 Ghost Emperor. As the soul-devouring Ghost Emperor and Wang Shang stepped forward and announced their cultivation level, the ghost cultivators' mouths twitched violently. How could such weak ghost cultivators come to the ghost graveyard? However, when they remembered that Wang Kai was their leader, they felt relieved. Chapter 457. We admit defeat. We don't want to fight for the spots to cultivate in the ghost venerable graveyard. That's right, so there's no need to fight. Please forgive us, Ghost Brother. The 4 ghostly deity powerhouses who had successfully won the ghost feast cupped their fists as they spoke, suppressing their anger. If it hadn't been for Wang Kai's last-minute intervention, one of them would have been the one to head to the ghost venerable cemetery tomorrow. Unfortunately, they had lost their chance. If they fought with Wang Kai, they would lose and be devoured by him. Since they knew that they couldn't go to the ghost venerable graveyard, how could they suppress their cultivation and fight with a few wandering ghosts? I said I'll let you fight. Wang Kai looked indifferent as he waved his folding fan. His tone was firm. White Impermanence. The 4 ghost deities had no choice but to look at White Impermanence for help. They didn't want to fight not because they were afraid of losing, but because they were afraid that Wang Kai would seek revenge after they won. Why are you looking at her? She's my 99,000th concubine. Naturally, she supports what I said. Wang Kai shrugged and said with a playful smile. Congratulations to the host for bragging successfully. You've received 100,000 experience points and 100 bragging points. Congratulations to the host for breaking through and reaching the 5th grade Tao God Realm. Concubine. 99,000. Upon hearing this, all the ghost cultivators were stunned. Even the soul-devouring Ghost Emperor and the Ghost King were smacking their lips as they looked at Wang Kai in astonishment. However, White Impermanence's reaction surprised the ghost deities. She didn't show any signs of anger and still maintained her cold look. Let's fight. If you win, I'll give you a few more spots. White Impermanence said indifferently, her cold eyes flashing slightly. The only way now was to use the soul-devouring Ghost Emperor and the Ghost King to buy time. Give me a few more spots. I'm willing to fight. Me too. In an instant, the 4 ghostly cultivators scrambled forward. However, there were only 2 opponents. The 4 ghostly cultivators stared at each other with hostility. Wait, I still have 2 followers who want to participate in the battle. It's 4 against 4. Wang Kai narrowed his eyes and glanced at White Impermanence playfully. Soon after, he flipped his hand and released the green and red ghosts from the Tong Tian Tower. Whoosh, whoosh. As the green and red ghosts appeared, the ghost cultivators present were all stunned. Even White Impermanence's eyes flashed with a strange light. He wasn't shocked by the red and green ghosts' realms, but by Wang Kai's methods. What method did he use to bring them in? Where did he hide it? Even a venerable weapon can't escape the barrier of the seal. Who is he? He actually has a supreme treasure that surpasses the limit of a venerable artifact. White Impermanence frowned, her heart unsettled. Sect Master, where is this? F*CK, they're all ghosts and deities. Damn it, don't tell me you're the legendary White Impermanence? It must be her. The green and red ghosts were so shocked that a cold wind blew over them. They immediately jumped and hid behind Wang Kai. They swallowed their saliva and looked around in fear. Can you see the handwriting on Sister Impermanence's official hat? Wang Kai raised his eyebrows and asked curiously. Even the ghost cultivators present, the soul-devouring Ghost Emperor, and the Ghost King couldn't see it. However, the green and red ghosts, whose realms were the lowest, could see it. We can see it. Cough cough, let's not talk about this. Sect Master, we're... Green Ghost said as he wiped the cold sweat off his forehead. Red Ghost also trembled and said dryly, Sect Master, you can't have been intercepted by them and want us to come out and die with you, right? Bang. Bang. The corner of Wang Kai's mouth twitched slightly when he heard this. He immediately flipped his palm and slapped them all to the ground. He said rather speechlessly, with these weak brats, can they be the opponents of this Sect Master? Sect Master. F*CK. It's true. They don't even dare to get angry. The green and red ghosts were stunned when they saw this. Looking at the ghost cultivators who didn't even dare to get angry, they immediately became bolder. They put their hands on their hips and walked up to the ghost cultivators. They pointed at them and said, What are you looking at? Haven't you seen the most powerful ghost cultivators in Soulbreak Valley? If you keep looking, I'll gouge your eyes out. Red Ghost snorted in disdain. Faced with the green and red ghosts' arrogance, the ghost cultivators could only suppress their anger. If it were any other time, they would have killed them all already. As expected of the Hall Master of our sky-defying sect. You have guts. Since that's the case, let's fight. Green and red ghosts, choose an opponent from each of the 4 of them. Let's fight. Wang Kai nodded and smiled with admiration. Whoosh. With that, the azure ghost and red ghost trembled in fright. They pointed at their noses with uncertainty before pointing at the 4 ghostly deities. They asked tentatively, Sect Master, do you want us to fight? Cut the crap. Let's end this quickly. You're at the same level. What are you afraid of? Wang Kai waved his hand impatiently. At the same level? Hearing this, the green and red ghosts' courage instantly grew once again. They turned to look at the 4 ghost cultivators, raised their arms, and pointed at one of them in an arrogant manner. "It's you. Come out and fight. This Hall Master will choose you. Seeing that you are the strongest one, as an awesome Hall Master, I will naturally choose to beat you up." Whoosh! Buzz! Suddenly, the 2 ghost cultivators who were chosen couldn't hold back anymore. They immediately suppressed their cultivation to the dark ghost realm. With a roar, they attacked the green and red ghost. That terrifying aura and ferocious face showed how angry they were. On the other side, the remaining 2 ghost cultivators were also fighting with the soul-devouring Ghost Emperor and the Ghost King. Every move was ruthless and merciless. With White Impermanence as the judge, even if they couldn't kill the soul-devouring Ghost Emperor and the others due to Wang Kai's power, they still had to teach them a lesson. King of Hell, Black Impermanence has already, beside him. White Impermanence's face was still indifferent. She coldly watched the battle between the 2 sides. A black token appeared in her jade hand behind her back. "I already know Sovereign Heavenly Ghost's intention. For the time being, I won't bother with the little ghost who killed Black Impermanence. Just bring him to the Ghost Sovereign Cemetery and the Heavenly Ghost Palace." White Impermanence frowned slightly. She didn't expect King of Hell and Sovereign Heavenly Ghost to have no intention of finding trouble with Wang Kai. Instead, they wanted to bring Wang Kai to the Heavenly Ghost Palace. Since King of Hell and Sovereign Heavenly Ghost have no intention of sending experts to kill Wang Kai, there's no need to delay any longer. "Let's end this matter so that I can cultivate in peace," White Impermanence secretly thought. With that thought, White Impermanence's figure flashed. With a wave of her slender hand, she separated the soul-devouring Ghost Emperor and the other ghost cultivators who were fighting. "There's no need to fight anymore. There's only one spot to go to the Ghost Sovereign Cemetery." "Wang Kai," White Impermanence said indifferently. Chapter 458. There's only one spot? The 4 ghost cultivators were stunned as they stared blankly at by Wu Chang. Didn't she just say that the winner would get a few more spots? Why was there only one now? "Kill!" Buzz! In an instant, while the 4 ghost cultivators were still in a daze, the soul-devouring Ghost Emperor, the Ghost King, and the green and red ghosts looked at each other and launched their killing moves at the same time. Bang 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 bang! Crack! The 4 ghost cultivators were caught off guard, and their bodies exploded. Even their spirits were disrupted by the attack. Following closely behind, the soul-devouring Ghost Emperor and the other ghost cultivators mercilessly pressed forward. They opened their mouths and swallowed all 4 spirits, including the remains of their shattered bodies, into their stomachs. "Sect Master, we're going to sleep. The Ghost Tao is too strong." Bang! Bang bang bang! As soon as he finished speaking, the soul-devouring Ghost Emperor and the Ghost King fell to the ground one after another. The green and red ghosts were the same. Sigh, what a worrisome subordinate. Wang Kai shrugged and smiled indifferently. With a flip of his hand, he put the soul-devouring Ghost Emperor and the others into the Skirich Tower. Even ghost cultivators at the Ghost Celestial stage needed to sleep to refine their Ghost Tao cultivation after swallowing other ghost cultivators. With the cultivation of the soul-devouring Ghost Emperor, the Ghost King, and the green and red ghosts, they were naturally unable to avoid this. Many ghost cultivators were shocked by this, but Bai Wu Chang was not moved. She looked at Wang Kai coldly and said indifferently, "Follow me to the Ghost Sovereign Cemetery." "Ghost Sovereign Cemetery?" Huff! Wang Kai exhaled softly. They had passed through the ghost domain, and now they had stepped through the ghost graveyard. After passing through the final Ghost Sovereign Cemetery, they would arrive at the central wasteland. "You ghost cultivators need to remember that my name is Wang Kai. I'm the sect master of the Defying Heaven sect. The 8 wastelands were created by me in the past to have sex with beautiful women. Remember my name. It will be the greatest honor in your life." Wang Kai shrugged and smiled indifferently. "Congratulations to the host for successfully bragging. You have received 100,000 experience points and 100 bragging points." As his voice faded, Wang Kai placed one hand behind his back and fanned himself with the other. Under the astonished gazes of the numerous ghost cultivators, he followed by Wuchang and left in succession. Wang Kai, the sect leader of the heavenly sect. This ghost deity actually remembered him. A ghost deity muttered in a somewhat speechless manner. "It's hard not to remember such a boastful person." The group of ghost cultivators shook their heads and sighed, lying back into their coffins in disappointment. In the depths of the ghost graveyard, at the edge of the area, there were no more tombs. The extremely wide open space spanned hundreds of miles and was surrounded by a dense aura of death. Wang Kai and Bai Wuchang landed on a high hillside and looked down. What came into their view were eerie palaces with an aura of death. The number of palaces was so large that it was difficult to estimate. Even without the need for a barrier, countless ghost cultivators don't dare to approach. The graveyard of ghost venerables. TSK, it's pretty good at acting tough. However, it's pretty good at acting tough. Wang Kai shrugged and smiled casually. Bai Wuchang's eyes flickered slightly when she heard this. She raised her slender arm and pointed in a direction, saying indifferently, "Over there is the Heavenly Ghost Palace. You can go there by yourself." Looking in the direction that Bai Wuchang pointed, they indeed saw the tallest palace. Its size was enough to accommodate dozens of palaces. That was also the central area of the Ghost Sovereign Cemetery, where the aura of death was the strongest. "You want me to go there by myself? Sister Wuchang, are you kidding me? Although this sect master's strength is monstrous and I have the ability to turn the world upside down, I really don't want to bully the weak to prevent countless ghost cultivators' souls from dispersing. Sister Wuchang, you should come with this sect master." Wang Kai raised his brow slightly and waved the folding fan in his hand with a faint smile. "Congratulations to the host for successfully bragging. You have received 100,000 experience points and 100 bragging points. Congratulations to the host for successfully breaking through to the 6th grade Tao God realm." Bai Wuchang frowned slightly and looked coldly at Wang Kai. She said indifferently, "With your current realm, it is naturally difficult for you to pass through the Ghost Sovereign Cemetery and reach the Heavenly Ghost Palace. However, you have taken the soul elixir previously, so no ghost cultivator will find trouble with you." "Haha, do you think I am afraid of them finding trouble with me? It's just that I don't want to hurt the innocent. As the saying goes, the heavens are virtuous. Even the heavens were created by me, so my moral character is naturally even more noble." Wang Kai shrugged and smiled faintly. "Congratulations to the host for successfully bragging. You have received 100,000 experience points and 100 bragging points." As soon as these words came out, Bai Wuchang's brows furrowed even tighter. She really couldn't stand Wang Kai's boastful personality. She immediately said coldly, "Didn't you claim to be the leader of the heavenly sect? If you are not afraid of the heavens, why should you be afraid of some ghost sovereigns? Moreover, if a ghost cultivator really does not know what is good for him and offends you, you can summon the demon monkey." Whoosh! As soon as she finished speaking, Bai Wuchang's figure gradually turned into light spots and disappeared. Ghost Sovereign. What is the realm of the Ghost Sovereign? Big stupid cat, quickly tell me the truth. Wang Kai frowned and asked. Looking at the palace tombs below, he really didn't have any confidence. In the Tong Tian Tower, Cat Lord stroked his long whiskers and was floating in the palace. He slowly opened his eyes and said lightly, "Ghost Sovereign." Ghost cultivators are called ghost sovereigns. Humans are called human sovereigns. Buddhist cultivators are called Buddha sovereigns. Demon cultivators are called demon sovereigns. Halfway through, Wang Kai's face suddenly darkened. The corner of his mouth twitched slightly and he said, I am asking how many realms there are in the Ghost Sovereign realm. Soulbreak Valley was the most powerful place. How could there only be ghost sovereigns? There must be many more powerful ones. 3 emperors, 4 saints, 5 immortals, 6 deities, 7 Tao, 8 sovereigns. In order: Human Sovereign Realm, Holy Sovereign Realm, Celestial Sovereign Realm, Godly Sovereign Realm, Earthly Sovereign Realm, Heavenly Sovereign Realm, Supreme Sovereign Realm, and the most powerful 8 Desolation Supreme Realm. Yes, there is only one 8 Desolation Supreme Realm in the 8 Desolation Lands. Cat Lord stroked his long whiskers and said lightly, Human Sovereign, Holy Sovereign, Celestial Sovereign, Godly Sovereign, Earthly Sovereign, Heavenly Sovereign, Supreme Sovereign, and 8 Desolation Supreme Sovereign. There was only one 8 Desolation Supreme Realm. In other words, if one wanted to travel unimpeded in the 8 Desolation Lands, one must at least reach the Supreme Realm. Thinking of this, Wang Kai twisted his eyebrows and said with a calm smile, It's just the 8 Desolation Realms. If I want to reach them, it's just a matter of time. There is nothing to be afraid of. Congratulations to the host for successfully bragging. You have received 100,000 experience points and 100 bragging points. Congratulations to the host for successfully breaking through and reaching the 7th grade Tao God Realm. Hearing the notification, Wang Kai was in high spirit. He raised his hand and lifted his robe. Waving his folding fan, he jumped up into the sky and laughed proudly. Overturn this Ghost Sovereign Cemetery, then go to the Central Desolation Lands and beat up the Heavenly Emperor. Laugh all over the world. Congratulations to the host for successfully bragging. You have received 100,000 experience points and 100 bragging points. Buzz. Swoosh. Suddenly, Wang Kai's face changed greatly. Just as he was about to step into the air, he found that he could not control his strength at all. His body immediately fell from the sky. White impermanence F*CKU. This place is not allowed to step into the air. Why didn't you tell me? You're tuning in to the Phoenix Knights YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.